Here we go. Check, check. 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Dr. Funk live show. Thank you guys so much for checking us out on YouTube, Spotify, subscribing through Apple Music, and all the other places that you can get us. Today, we're going to have an amazingly fun show with the one and only Stephen Hill talking about the 3121 house parties and his Prince experiences and him being around for a while, and he's got a lot of stories to share. I've been looking forward to having Stephen on for over a year now. So I'm very, very happy that we get him on with us. Thank you guys so much for checking us out everywhere from overseas, Australia, the UK, Japan. I appreciate it because I know sometimes it's in the middle of the night for you guys, but it always goes so far with us, and we truly, truly appreciate it. So hope you guys are doing well. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in my very first guest, my only guest for this show, but he's an amazing talent. He was part of the BET tributes that you saw over the years. They were in tribute to Prince when he was here and after he passed. We'll get to Madonna as well, a little bit on that. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, Mr. Stephen Hill. And there you go, extreme close-up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we on yet? Are we on yet? Are we on yet? Are we on yet?
You guys are going to expect. Stephen is a great, great guest. How you doing, my man?
Dr. Funk, how you doing, sir? You good?
Doing great. Thank you so much for the live shows that you've been doing during this time. It's been
that's fun.
You know,
the only problem is once they came out with the Sign of the Times, especially when they came out with the Sign of the Times reissue, the bots came after me. Like I could play some Prince stuff, but once the Sign of the Times reissue came out, it became part of a problem. So now I can only play kind of like, I play the live stuff. I play the 1983 First Avenue concert. I play stuff that I got from Europe. So the live stuff still holds, but anything recorded, man, the bots come after me on IG Live.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They'll cut me off immediately. And I appreciate that. And, again, I always say IG is doing their job because the rights holders should be getting paid. Right. I actually had conversations with Prince about way back in the day before IG and everything else about like rights holders and making sure people got paid for everything. I'll never forget. I told him I was very happy because I was like, I had found on YouTube like just the bass stem to Papa Was a Rolling Stone. And I remember like I don't know how we were in a place where I was like, I told him, I was like, oh my God, I found just the bass stem because I love how you things get pulled apart. And he said, I don't particularly like that because they're not getting paid for it. I was like, but it's the bass stem. They're not getting paid for it. So why is that a good thing? So anyhow, we can keep going.
Crazy, man. And of course, that means you can't play your favorite. One of your favorites, Adore.
I have, yes, I got to interview him in 2004. That was a musicology run. And at the end of the interview, I called Adore the Black National Anthem. And he got a laugh out of him. It's like, whenever there's a black person in the audience, you should really make sure that you play that record. But it is one of my favorite. It was I am no longer married, but it was the first dance that my ex-wife and I danced to. So it has a lot of meaning for me.
And I think it's interesting because I believe, if not mistaken, there may have been some shows in between he didn't do it, but I believe for the rest of his career, Adore was always in the front list.
So I don't, I've not taken credit for that, except the one time when I know he's like, the first show after that I saw was in San Diego.
Right.
And I remember him kind of seeing me in the corner, and Adore got played that night. So I don't know if it got played, how many times it got played after that, but I know it was a more regular staple after that than before that.
Most definitely. You did have it in the Love Sexy tour and some other places, but then
it went away. It went away. Dude, do you have the there's that what is it, the show in Vienna where he performs Adore for the first time and then forgets the lyrics? Have you heard that bootleg?
I think we all have kind of. We're like,
yes. But
He'll say that someone was playing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. But that was the first, as I know it, the first play of Adore because he was not playing it on that tour, right?
Right.
Right.
But it was cool.
Yes.
You know, doing that stuff and all that.
Jeremiah, if I can't, I need to apologize in advance because I don't get to talk about Prince that much, especially with people who love Prince, because I always have to tamp down my energy. So there's going to be no tamping down tonight. I'm going to come with a full passion and full energy of how much I really love Prince.
We wouldn't have it any other way, my man.
I appreciate it.
You're around a bunch of friends worldwide for sure on this one. So we know you're at the house parties. We know that you interviewed Prince. Take us back. When did you first discover Prince to you?
Oh, you know, I'm very glad you asked me that because it allows me to talk about very briefly the biggest musical influence in my life, which was my cousin, Paul Melvin Jackson Jr., better known as Skip Jackson. He is no longer with us. He passed away, it'll be 10 years ago. It's been 10 years, but he was the guy who let me know it was cool to play mute, like Sly and the Family Stone next to Santana, next to Barry Manilow, next to Earth, Wind and Fire. And I'll never forget, there was a piano in the basement, and I saw this cassette, and it was standing up. I remember this so well. And I saw this guy with an afro that kind of was fading in the distance. And I said, I'm not, who is this? And I'll never forget, he said, his name is Prince. He's going to be big.
And when was this?
So this was For You. So it was the cassette for You. He had gotten like really, really early on. He had heard Soft and Wet and understood kind of what it was going to be. But I'll never forget, like he said, this guy's going to be really big. And so I don't have an older brother. He was my older brother figure. And so I want to do everything he did. So that was my introduction. I went and got For You. And I was like, really dig this. And then, so I loved Soft and Wet. The first song I really loved after that was When We're Dancing Close and Slow, right from the second album. But that was I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Prince at the very beginning, and I take great pride in that because at the Worcester Centrum Purple Rain concert, when he started playing "Do Me Baby," and everybody who was there who'd just gotten on the train at Purple Rain sat down. I'll never forget. I stood on top of my chair and I turned around and I said, oh, you guys don't know this? Oh, what's your problem? You're just new on this train? Oh. Acted a fool. Worcester Central, March of '85, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Oh, it was 2 or 3 days before the Syracuse show that got recorded. Worcester was the last show, I believe, before the Syracuse show, which you saw recorded.
Right. Now, what was your first time seeing Prince in concert?
So I've been scouring this place all day for this ticket because I know it exists and I can't find it. It was January 30th or 31st, Capitol Center, Washington, D.C., 1982.
82.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it was 82, the Controversy Tour.
Yeah.
That would have been the Controversy Tour, right? And there's a bootleg of it, I believe, and they called it the Capitol Theater, but it was actually the Capitol Center, which was in Largo, Maryland, January of 1982. Yeah, because I'm thinking, when was the... Yes, because he was in Boston in March. The second time was in Boston. But it was Capitol Center, and DC was one of the first places where he could play arenas. Right. And so Capitol Center was arenas. He played theaters and a lot of other places, but arenas in DC. And, it was the beginning of I remember hearing the drums hitting the uptown. But the thing I remember most about that is that I went with a lot of very Christian folks. And so when he did Controversy and he started doing the Lord's Prayer, like everybody's like this. And then all of a sudden, Mona Washington, I love you to this day, sat down. Like I can't cheer during the Lord's Prayer. Can't happen.
Thank God you didn't take him to the Dirty Mind tour first with the
Small story about the Dirty Mind tour. I went to Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, which was an hour away from Boston. I can tell you almost the exact date. It was either March 13th, 14th, or 15th, 1981. The Dirty Mind tour was in Boston. I had a choice of whether to study for my econ exam or go to the Dirty Mind tour in Providence. and I chose the exam. I'll never forget. Now I regret it. At the time, it was the right thing to do, but I had an econ exam the next day. But I think it was at the Metro in Boston, and so I missed the Dirty Mind tour. So my first tour was the Controversy tour.
Maybe it would have been for the best. I see some comedians, like when I watch old stuff, they'll talk about Prince from that. They're like, some of the men kind of lost him a little bit with the trench coat and the bikini brief. Although, come on, Rolling Stone wasn't covering it at the time. It was mostly Right On and Black Beat. And of course, Stephen Ivory was following him for a bit. You know,
all the people I cared about were on it early as well. Look, I remember. And if I'm talking too much, you could just cut me off. You cut me off. Look, I went to school in Providence, Rhode Island. I went to Brown University, and I remember going down to the record shop on the downtown Providence, and I saw the Dirty Mind cover. I didn't know the album was out. I didn't know how to, things were out in advance. And my girlfriend's name was Mary Kidwell, and she went shopping with me. I went to go got the album. Like, oh my God, $4.39. I remember it very well. Crazy. Went back to the room. Mary, she was tired, so she was taking a nap, and so I listened to it under my headphones. So I'm like, okay, all right, cool, all right, Dirty Mind, all right, cool, all right, When You Were Mine, all right, cool, all right, yeah, all right, Uptown, okay, cool, all right, I like that. Head. I heard Head. I remember this so well. I heard it, but first let me get Head. I screamed. Mary was like, wait, what happened? I was like, never mind. I'll play it for you later. So, that was, I mean, I had great memories of the first few albums of Prince. I went to boarding school, and my roommate Lloyd was a big fan of the second album of the Prince album. And I'll tell a sexy dancer story later.
All right. But I know Head was one of the songs when you're doing the interview with him. You're like, can you play Head one more time?
Yeah.
He's like,
Head, Erotic City. Yeah. What? Especially Erotic City. So
was that you just trying to show him from back in the day, or was it just you really want to hear that stuff again because those were great songs?
So by that time we established I didn't have to show him I knew back in the day. He knew that I knew back in the day. And that's why I think he was surprised. If you look at the interview when I talk about it the same way you did on the Love Sexy tour, go.
Right.
And he kind of like his answer. I'll let you watch it for the answer, and I decided I'm just going to let it lie. But no, it was really like some of his funkiest. I'm a funk fan, and some of his funkiest songs involve the lascivious acts. Right. So it's Head. It's Erotic City, right? Those really, luckily he kept playing Endorphin Machine, which is still one of my favorites. But the point was, the real Darlin' Nikki, were the ones that he stopped. By that time in 2004, he had stopped playing. So I really, I wanted he changed the words to dance, music, sex, romance. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Instead of getting busy in the middle of a restaurant, what's the difference, man? But okay, all right.
No, respect where folks go.
Right.
Respect where people go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was it. We all wanted to hear that, and sometimes he would throw out a little bit of instrumental of Head at shows, even before musicology tour and afterwards. He knew what he was doing, and then playing a little bit of Darling Nikki, and then we'd be the one singing. He'd be like, "Oh, I'm telling your mama."
Yo, I had a. He was. I will. I think it's comfortable to say he was struggling with that. I have no problem saying he was struggling with that because he was perfectly able to not put it in public, right? So he played Dallas for the musicology tour. I went down there and we went out. We went and literally just sat there. One of those few times we just sat in the club, like everything is going around, and there's like 2 or 3 people just sitting and talking. And he was talking about it's hard because when I play those, I want to do it. And I'll never forget. He said something like, and I got a little frame, so when I move, I can move quickly. I was like, wait, what? And then he went off that topic.
There you go.
But yeah.
So your first show, Controversy tour.
Yes.
But was that where those photos where you were at an autograph signing where you saw Vanity 6 and you saw Prince signing? I saw some photos that you posted before that.
Oh, no, that was 99 tour. That was so the irony of that was a 1999 tour, February 13th, 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Right. February 13th. Here's the thing. Look up whatever date, and I think it was the 13th, 12th, 13th, or 14th, that Little Red Corvette was released as a single. It was literally the day in Providence, Rhode Island, that Little Red Corvette was released as a single. That show was. And if you look, there's seats open behind him. The front, looking towards him was pretty full, but behind him was kind of empty that day. And I can't lie, that was two things about that. One, the day the tickets went on sale, I went down and bought almost all of the entirety of the second and third rows of that. Right. So I have college friends to this day who thank me like, yo, man, thanks for getting those tickets and then selling them to me. And I sold them at cost. Like I didn't make a profit off of them, but I wanted to be around a bunch of people who I knew were Prince fans. So I literally fronted the entire second and third rows.
Wow.
The day they went on sale. And that's why the pictures are so close, because they were literally taken from the second row. But I will have to admit, and I've told this to Jimmy and Terry a number of times, the Time got him that night. The Time was the superior band that night. That night, with the exception of How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, the Time was the superior band that night.
That's why in some cities like here in LA, although they're playing the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, the Time didn't perform.
I didn't know that.
For the big cities like LA, oh no, the Time did not perform on that tour. There was some the
Time was getting them, and Jimmy and Tara laugh about it like that's the way they refer to it, like, yeah, we got him some nights, we got him.
He even said it, if they would kick my ass, he was getting pissed. So, oh no, there'd be a reason. Oh no, there isn't enough time to get you guys on. But
yeah. But I was fortunate enough. I snuck in the camera, and it wasn't this past February. I think it was 2 Februarys ago. February of 18. Look, if you on my, please, first of all, follow me on Instagram at Stephen Grant Hill, and then go to 2018, because on the 35th anniversary of that show, I posted a whole bunch of pictures that I took from the second row. And the funniest thing from that was that Questlove hit me and was like, for years, I've been trying to get my drum tech to make a drum that had a light come out of it. And just because of your pictures, I realized it was an electronic drum and he had a light in front of the drum. That was the first time Amir realized that it wasn't actually the drum that had the light in it, but it was a octagonal, if I'm not mistaken, octagonal Linn drum, a kick drum. There was a fake kick drum and then a light was in front of it.
That's so cool. Hello to Shelby J, who's in the room. Thank you so much for joining us.
Shelby! Okay. Can we talk about Baby Love yet or no? It's too early. Shelby, is it too early to talk about Baby Love?
You can talk about Baby Love, my man. We'll go everywhere.
Right. Hold on. I'm bringing artifacts. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it. Hold up. Let me try to find an artifact. Hold up. Let me see. Where is it? Wait, is this the one? Hold on. Oh no, it's the Michael Jordan party. Hold on, I'll bring that one up later. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Girls and boys. Oh, was it not on the list, but y'all did it again? All right, Nice After Party 2010. That's set list.
There you go.
I used to steal set lists. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would absolutely take set lists from people. And so an unannounced Shelby J did one of my favorite songs by a group called Mother's Finest, Baby Love. And I would go screaming crazy anytime that would happen. So Shelby, shout out. You know how I love you.
She killed that song.
Oh, by the way, and Shelby J, which I didn't know until a few weeks ago, sang on one of the best tours that was not Prince of all time, D'Angelo Voodoo Tour.
Correct.
I did not know that until a few weeks ago.
Shelby was awesome. The first time that I saw her was at the 3121 Vegas show to bring 3121 all into this. I believe it was December, it may have been January, like before the Super Bowl show. And she killed it. And then especially at the after show or inside the little restaurant, and she's belting it out like there's 20 freaking thousand people in there. Just killing it. I think even Sade one night, like, oh my God. Shelby, you know how much I have love for you. I hope you're doing well, my friend.
This is a love fest for Shelby J. It's a love fest.
Cool.
Love fest so much, I'm trying to cut my hair like her.
I can't do that. I try. I have stitches as a kid or something. There's train tracks. It would be a mess. It doesn't look as good as you and doesn't look as good as Shelby for sure.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Thank you. Trust me. The more hair I have, the better. But let's go back to the 1999 tour, because the version that I loved, you loved How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore. I love the way that you would do Me Baby on that tour. And now that once I stop loving you, baby, I'm never stop. Add to the tour, I'd be like, damn, why couldn't they be on the album version? But it just shows you how great performer he was live. Go ahead.
No, look, he was fantastic. Even the night that he got, like, you got to understand, like, he trained, and Jimmy will talk about how much he trained the time. So, you know, he kind of got beat by his own creation, but that creation was that because he drilled them so seriously and so deeply. But, you know, let's be honest. 1999 was when Prince kind of found himself as a performer. Before that, it was there was more jerky movements. Look, even the Dirty Mind tour musically was fantastic. Mm-hmm. But the things I've seen, Prince wasn't the performer that he became. Like between 81 and 84 was just a transformational change. Like, I've always wondered what happened, and even to me, between the 1999 tour and the Purple Rain tour, or the Purple Rain movie. And they talk about how they took movement classes for the Purple Rain movie. And I'm imagining those classes like while they had a great effect for the people who had to act in it, they had a transformational effect for Prince as he started, you know, as he became a performer and a better mover. Because the difference between 1999 and Purple Rain is astonishing.
It is crazy. And the only thing you can think of aside from the movie, possibly, I know that the Revolution talks about this a lot, especially it being Brown Mark's first show, but what happened at that Rolling Stones show in LA?
Oh, yeah.
And I always run into some fool that says they were at that show. I swear I ran into people, about probably 500,000 people who said they're at that show when it only was less. Everyone claims to have been at that show. Oh, I was supporting him. Oh, you weren't the one throwing chicken parts? Right. It had to be more than just that. You know, maybe it gave him a little bit of fire. But
oh, yeah, absolutely.
He was such a great performer. When you're watching those videos that we shouldn't have of the live performances from Dirty Mind or the Controversy tour or the 1999 tour, there was a transformation.
Why do you have live videos of me? Did I get paid for those? Did I get paid for those? Why did I not have those? What's that?
Me and him had to talk about it. Like when we were hanging out in the studio in 2012, it was just, it is such a shame to me at that time. You know, you had the One Night Alone live, and you had the Ravens of the Year 2000. Then you had Prince Revolution Live 85. That those were the only live shows that he had out.
And Love Sexy. You said Love Sexy, right?
Love Sexy as well with that, but that was only released overseas. But we only had with the One Night Alone set of that tour. That was the only one that was officially released on CD with live tracks. Although some stuff was getting out through the Music Club at the time, it was such a shame to me. And then he was all like, I didn't understand why he would take videos off of YouTube, because that promotes your show, especially when BET, when MTV, and other people at the time aren't playing your stuff. And he'd be like, they can come to Paisley Park and Kirk will play it for them. Like, they want to take it home with them. He's like, they can watch it in my home. I'm like, all right. When he gives you that, like, this is my records, that's when you know, okay, end of conversation, it's over. You know, but
so I don't know. Did this ever happen to you that, like, one of the I am an unabashed Prince fan, and one of the things that I always appreciated is that as we became cordial and as we became worked in business and as we became friendly, he never made fun of me to my face for being like a true fan, right? So I would be, I'm running the programming at BET, but I'm also the guy at the front row of the Prince concert, taking my shirt off and waving it around, right? And so he never made me feel weird about that, knowing that I had been a fan for a while. And I say that because I don't know if you felt the same way, but like when you disagreed with him and went all in the argument, did you in the middle of the argument go like, I can't believe I'm arguing with Prince right now?
The first hour we ever hung out, and I felt like such a dick. His manager was there and other things. I felt like such a punk, I have to say. But we were talking about stuff, and what I learned over time, because like when I used to do my show back in the day, I get like a text from his manager saying, you need to use better judgment. Stop playing my music. I went, dude, no one wants a show for an hour of me talking about you. I won't play your music. But at that time, he was wanting me to get him on Sirius Radio. I'm like, their music needs to be played. So I did push back a little bit. And then for the next 6 months, every single week, he dropped a new song. He'd send it to me a few hours before I edited it down to a minute. And then you go on Third iTunes and sell it. But that discussion doesn't happen unless we have that little bit of argument. And a lot of people would argue with Prince at all. And I like I said, I feel like a dick at times, especially that. But I was like wanting to understand stuff from his point of view when it came to the masters, when it came to YouTube and other things, because we would know that he'd have all these shows that were professionally shot and are in the vault, and hoping one day that they would be released is all. Yeah. It was just coming from a place of love,
Yes. And I think he understood that. I'd like to feel he understood it with me, and people have told me, especially since his passing, that was the case, that he appreciated intelligent discourse and people who he appreciated people who disagreed with him and had no problem voicing it, because so many people were in awe of him and wouldn't do it. I was just in awe of him and do it and have that conversation. That same conversation I talk about where I'm little now, I have no problem, pumping. He hated, what was the guy's name? Jaquan. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. He hated that. He hated that song with a passion. And so he said, it was in the Dallas show, and I walked to his section. We greet. He said, "Oh, how you doing? Is everybody in the club getting tipsy? Why are you playing that video?" I'm like, "Well, it's a popular video." He said, "People just shouldn't do that. Just talking too nasty in records." And I'm literally thinking, like, am I going to say it? Am I going to say it? And he's like, "I just can't believe people talking like that. Am I going to say it?" And then finally he goes, "Once the people," I'm like, "You started this. Nobody was doing this before. You're the reason people are doing it now." And his response was simply, well, no one was doing it when I was doing it. And I got to admit, it took me a little while to get. I didn't get it in that moment. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like that, but that's the point. You did it and everybody else did it. But, as a guy who always wanted invention and always wanted things to move forward, he was like, they're not moving the culture forward. They're just taking what I did and redoing it. It took me a little while to get that.
Very interesting. Because I know he brought that up to Carson Daly when he talked about music at the time being disposable, and Prince called him out on it. He's like, I'm just a bartender. If they want a rum and coke, I'm going to serve rum and coke. And he's like, oh, I see how it is. Because he was kind of giving him that little flack. It's, the reason that there's disposable music is because it's what you're playing. So I understand where you're coming from when it comes like that. Now, so because then you have the Purple Rain tour, which was amazing, but we understand it was for him a color by numbers tour. And now when we hear these rehearsals that we shouldn't be hearing and seeing how funky the Revolution was, playing tracks that and see, I give the Revolution much more props than I used to with those rehearsals somehow getting out. I don't know how I found them. We're not going to talk about that, but yeah, they were ahead of the course when it comes to stuff. But a Purple Rain tour, even by him, was boring color by numbers. That's why I think with Parade and even Sign the Times, although the Revolution wasn't around anymore, and Love Sexy, kept going to different places and being able to recreate the songs, even though they were older. Even the head version that you loved back then was different from the Love Sexy tour, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, what other songs were you loving from those time periods? Go ahead, my man.
Oh my God, we could be here all night for that. Look, I think Purple Rain, the Purple Rain tour, essentially you call it color by numbers. Jeff, if you're familiar with Jeff Sharp,
Okay.
you know Jeff Sharp?
I believe so. Yes.
So Jeff Sharp was like the promoter of the Purple Rain tour. Like he and Alan Leeds were the people who really were the engines behind that tour. Hmm. And I've had the fortune. I've known Jeff for a while, and they were like, that was the first tour that you could kind of, after a certain point, you could Shelby, I see what you got there. At that point, like once he got to a certain pace, I think it was once he got past God, you could count it on the stopwatch. It was clicked in. Before there was Pro Tools, it was clicked in. So, what I do love is he did have his moment in the middle where like, okay, I can still make this kind of fluid, but once that was done, it's locked. Oh, dude, I was at the Philadelphia show. You know what was different about the Philadelphia show?
Which
for the Purple Rain tour?
Oh, go ahead.
He started with America.
See, he couldn't hold it in anymore.
He started that exactly right. So that was November of '84, and that was pretty early on. And so I remember being in the audience and thinking, "Let's Go Crazy's coming up," and they had he put a dummy up with literally a mannequin with his coat on while he's singing America backstage before the Let's Go Crazy open.
Awesome. Jeff
Sharp, literally 25, 30 years after that, I'm like, I need to know if you remember this. He's like, oh my God, I remember this. He was like Prince. It was earlier it wasn't even that late in the tour. It was pretty early in the tour. And he's like, I'm tired of doing this the old way. I've got this song that I'm going to put out. I need to play this song tonight. And they were like, yeah, but it'll do this. He's just like, and so they literally battled about like, if he could do that, given the mechanics of the show. And so I want to say November 25th, but I may have that date wrong. It was during the Thanksgiving break of '84. He did America to open that show, and it was cool to get the inside on it 30 years later. But songs of that time, oh my God, now I'm blanking on Condition of the Heart, Pop Life, the 12-inch version. What's the Matter with Your Sex? Temptation. 15 minutes is a floor. It's a floor, not a ceiling. What do we got? We got Temptation. Then we move on. I remember I was in a car the first time I heard Boys and Girls, and coming out of the right speaker, that bass saxophone. I was in Los Angeles. I just flown in. I'll never forget hearing that for the first time. And then the entirety, Son of the Times is, like many people, the favorite. I'm gonna shut up now. I could go on like this forever. Keep going.
No, I'm enjoying it. I know everyone else is enjoying it too, my man. If you think you're nerding out, you're not nerding out.
I'm completely nerding out. By the way, I am nerding all of the way out. Let's be clear.
I mean, we can bring out some Marvel graphic novels and make it really nerd.
No. No, but look. I think so. 82. So yeah, the first time after Philadelphia, November of '84 was the first time I saw the Purple Rain tour. Shout out to my good friend Kevin Griffith and Lisa, who was there. And it was just it was as amazing as if you didn't see it, you've seen it at Syracuse. I like it was a little more raggedy in Philadelphia. I then saw it again, as I mentioned before, in Worcester, right before the Syracuse show, right before the end of that tour. But yeah, I just it's just he had done something between the Controversy tour and the Purple Rain tour, or the 1999 tour. I'm sorry, and the Purple Rain tour. That was masterful. What after? Okay, so all right, as we go linearly. My first job in professional radio started in March of '86 at WILD in Boston. Mm-hmm. He played one of those hit and run parade tour shows in April of '86 at the Metro in Boston. Again, he loved Boston as a market. Like I don't know what it is about Boston. Shout out to my man Terrell Calloway, who was a promoter there. But Boston, DC, and Detroit were three markets he really he really dug. And so that was in a small club. He did what was eventually a parade tour, and I was too junior to get a ticket at the. So I missed that. I missed that show. I bought tickets for the Sign of the Times tour in London for 1987 at Wembley Stadium. Do you know the story behind that?
Go for it. It's all yours.
Got canceled. I went to London. It rained. It was the only stadium show on the entire tour, and the Sign of the Times tour got canceled that night. I never saw the Sign of the Times tour.
So you didn't go to the other city that it was playing in, huh?
So no, because I had my tickets for London. I thought I was going to, and it literally got canceled the day before. Side note: I got to see Peter Gabriel's "So" tour on the night I was supposed to go see at Earl. What is it? It's called Earl's Court.
Yeah.
Earl's Court. But I would have rather been in Wembley.
Of course, and that sucks. Out of all the shows that get canceled, it's the one that you had tickets to.
It was literally the only show of the entire tour. Only shows of the entire tour that got canceled. And then March of '88. Let's see what we got. We got that.
Radio City Music Hall.
Very first Grammys I ever went to. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Grammys that Michael Jackson is up for Bad. Prince is up for Sign of the Times.
Yep.
Michael Jackson performs that Man in the Mirror, Way You Make Me Feel. And this night right here, March 2nd, 1988, first time I ever touched Prince.
And that outfit. And
in the Love Sexy outfit. He was wearing the Love Sexy timed outfit, right? That night at the 88 Grammys.
Yes.
88 Grammys for the year 87. And he look, here's the truth is, I can't believe you're getting all this out of me. Truth of the story is, he and Alan Lees were going to the bathroom. I literally was in the third balcony at the beginning of the show. I ended up on the floor at the end, but that's another story. Third balcony. I saw Prince get up to go, like he and Alan Leeds got up. I literally bolted out of the third balcony, came downstairs, and just hung out in the balcony in the orchestra until he walked by, just so I could see and be that close to Prince. And when he went by, I touched him on his shoulder and said, "Hey, if I had a vote at the Grammys, I would have voted for you 17 times." Now that was an attempt to let him know that I knew. That was, I admit, that was an attempt to let him know that I knew 17 was the number.
Right. Now, we know what happened. He got robbed that night. Look, U2 is great. But as he said, I can do any song on Rattle and Hum. Let's see them do Housequake. If you want to talk about the Weeknd getting robbed this year, okay? Talk about 87. The Sign of the Times only got one nomination. One. Yes, granted, it was the big one. But I can understand his frustration to sit there for 3 hours. It's the last award of the night. He's there. Didn't present, didn't perform, was just there because he thought he was going to win. We all thought he was going to win. And U2 wins. And I can understand what he said. That he said in the interview, because there was no Twitter back then, but he said, "I never do an award show again unless I know I'm winning or I'm performing." You know, that's how it came out then. Just imagine the backlash if there was Twitter back then.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Look.
It's a good thing.
87 was an unbelievably strong year.
Mm-hmm. Bad.
I understand how Joshua Tree could get Album of the Year. Like there's no doubt. Like I Sign of the Times is probably my favorite album of all time, full stop. But in the world, I understand how Joshua Tree stands up over time. It does. So it was just a strong year. Like it was. I can't think of many years that were stronger. This year certainly was not as strong as 87. But yeah,
it's tough because it's like if he releases the album at a different point, whatever, then you have George Michael's Faith and that monster in 1988 to deal with.
Yes. Oh wait, George Michael was 88 or 87.
It was released in 87, but the time it was released,
it was fall of 87. That's right. 87 was a monster year.
Yeah.
Squeeze had a great album. Look, that was don't let me just 87 was a monster year.
One nomination. One.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say. You know, and 7 Grammys total, 3 for musicology, the musicology era, and then 1 for Future Baby Mama.
Yep.
And nothing for Sign of the Times. Just saying. That's all.
And then that of course was the beginning. That was the beginning. That was the first public appearance of Love Sexy Type Garb, right? I believe that was the first one. And so and then I'll turn up. And then my first time I got to meet Prince was this is the set list. Wait a minute, let me see if you can see that. Can you see that one first?
Paisley Park Studios, September.
Yes. So that was the Love Sexy tour went to Europe first. First time I saw the Love Sexy tour was in London. And after the show, after the show, there was a guy selling a bootleg Black Album cassette. I did not have a Black Album cassette. I bought the Black Album cassette for $5 outside of Wembley Arena after the Love Sexy tour. Prince, forgive me. And then this is the set list from the after party from the U.S. premiere, U.S. debut.
Very cool.
Positivity. He at some point in time took drums that night, got on the drums, and it was the first time I ever heard somebody hit a cymbal and stop it with his hand. I remember that very clearly. So yeah. So Love Sexy tour, my favorite tour of all time.
And was it the outfits? I mean, we didn't see the full outfit at the Grammys. Thank God for Blackbeat for having a photo of him entering in and someone taking a photo of him and me being able to see the entire outfit that way.
Yeah.
You know? But by the way, Taika, thank you for joining us in the room. Appreciate it.
Hey.
So when your first time meeting Prince, were you able to talk to him? Did you tell him it was going to be more than 17 times waiting for him?
No. I literally, it was a crowded place. It was a tent. I think there's actually video of him going into the tent for that function, September of '88. I've seen it online somewhere. And then there was just a crowd of people, but it wasn't packed to the gills, and it was a lot of his friends. So he's walking around freely, but he had gloves on. And I'll never forget, like, "Hi, my name's Steven. I'm just a big fan of yours." I stuck my hand and shake his hand, and he just kind of looked at me. He's like, "Can you shake my hand?" And he rolled his eyes and then shook my hand and then moved on. That was it. By the way, never reminded him. I never reminded him of that moment. Never. But I have no problem. I was a geek. I was and am a geeky fan.
There we go. Now let me.
Oh, and the shirt is official from the Love Sex tour. This is official Love Sexy tour, by the way. Uh-oh, you froze.
Okay.
Are you back? Are you back? Uh-oh. I don't know if you can hear me. But Dr. Funkenberry seemed to have frozen. So I will keep going until he goes. So one of the highlights of that night in 1988 was Knee Deep. Knee Deep performed by himself, but it was also with the band. I think that was the song he was on drums for. So 88, Love Sex Tour is my favorite. Look, he had a basketball court. It was in the round. Not many people were doing things in the round then. And I was fortunate enough to see the Love Sex Tour in London, Hartford, and three times in, talking about how many times I saw the Love Sex Tour. In London, Hartford, 3 or 2 times in Boston. And then he did an after show in Boston because unfortunately someone waiting in line for tickets for his show for the Worcester Centrum in 1988, a car jumped the curb and literally killed somebody who was in line for the Boston show. So he did a benefit at 9 Lansdowne or the Metro. I forget which one it was called at the time for that. So that was it.
That was good. Thank you for keep going through that.
Of course.
I've probably
it's Prince. I could talk all night.
I think I read that in Controversy magazine about that whole thing about the car where people waiting in line and it took someone's life, unfortunately.
Took someone's life, took his life. And he started the after show. I don't have the set list for that one, but he started that show with Positivity, which he didn't play in the Love Sexy tour. Where I think it was the only song from Love Sexy that did not get even a look in the Love Sexy tour. Well, in the early parts of the Love Sexy tour it did, but not by the time it got to me.
Now, of course, by the time Love Sexy came out, and what's worse, before we get into that, what's worse, getting the Prince eye roll or the Prince side eye?
At that point in time, it was the eye roll. Like, I don't mind the side. The side eye is just something I can come back. I've come back from the side eye. I came back from the side eye in the middle of the interview. So like I come back from the side eye. That's not. But the eye roll was like, my idol is eye rolling me.
Hilarious. Now, before Love Sexy, I'm sure you found, as you know, we're hearing about the Black Album coming out, and then now we're told it's not coming out.
Yeah.
You were like, I got to get that album.
So I wanted it so bad. I had no idea how to get it. Again, I was a weekend jock at a radio station, working full time at the Bank of Boston. And that's why I'm saying, like, at the London Wembley show, which is one of the last shows in Europe. Oh, London was actually, it's so funny. I see these shows that are right before the shows that get taped, right? So the London show was right before the Dortmund show for Love Sexy. And my Purple Rain show was the show like kind of right before the Syracuse show. So, and I remember we were walking to the tube station, me and my friend Kevin again. And he's got like, yo, Black Album cassette. I'm like, wait, what? Black Album cassette. I'm like, was this for real? Is this for real? It's like, yeah, £5. I remember very well. It was £5. I didn't have the £5. I was like, Kevin, I need to borrow £5. Trust me, I have to have this. And so my first Black Album was a cassette tape of the Black Album, and I was not disappointed in any way.
I mean, come on. It's just so weird. The whole mystery of that album and then the whole little slow down voice. So you found me, you know, right before the grind starts. Just crazy.
Oh, by the way, I'm not sure I've ever heard that.
Yeah. At the beginning of it, get your headphones on. It says slow down. So you found me.
Oh, no.
It's like with the whole Tupac stuff and Suge Shot Me or that other things. There was, I swear to God, every single time you get better headphones or a better system, you're hearing stuff you didn't hear before. Like I didn't have, until I had a really good stereo in 1991, I didn't hear the underlining of It's a Beautiful Night when Sheila is rapping and you hear Prince saying, can't nobody.
Ain't nobody fuck with us.
Right?
Ain't nobody fuck with us.
It was only when I got better systems that some of this stuff, it was so lost in the mix. And we get these, that's why when people say listening to Prince stuff in headphones, they hear stuff that you don't. I'm like, I believe them.
I believe it too. Look, I think and also what I love about it is that even though he didn't put out the Black Album, he put 2 songs from the Black Album in the Love Sexy tour.
Right.
2 songs you've never heard of, huh?
Don't buy the Black Album, but here's 2 songs from it.
That's right. But what I also loved about that is it fit into the theme of the Black Album. The first half is all about hedonism, and the second half is about the Cure, right? So I love the last song of the first part, and then the second half is about the Cure, hedonism and the Cure. I also love the Love Sexy started with a B-side. Like who starts their concert with a B-side? What?
Only him.
What? All right. I please tell me about your third favorite Prince memory, and I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Do your thing. My third favorite Prince memory. Interviewing Stephen Hill, being able to chop it up with Stephen Hill. Hope you guys are enjoying this show so far. I have a different setup this time. I see people talking about when they had their bootleg Black albums. But yes, I'm trying to go through your questions, seeing it differently this time. But Stephen has been a plethora of good energy. The Erotic City opening of Love Sexy Tour was I agree with that. There was just so many things. But a thing that I'll say while he's off is that, Prince said the Love Sexy tour was the most tiring tour he did since Purple Rain, of having to continue to keep going with that storyline, through, the sexual stuff to the God stuff. It took a lot out of him, and it was a little bit tougher than he thought it was going to be, which is just quite interesting. I want to get Steven's comments on that. But I appreciate you guys being here. Of course, we always have something that happens with the live show. Me taking off for a few minutes, but come on, you had Steven telling stories. It can't be that bad, right? So, and Steven, we're going to get into the 3121 parties with him getting on the microphone and several other things of him talking with Prince and experiences that they shared. Sorry. When your B-sides are good, just as good as your A's. 100%. Love that. Let's put that on there. There it is.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. What were we saying? What were we talking about?
Well, and your B-sides are as good as your A-sides. People are talking about that.
True point. So, three favorite B-sides of all time, Jeremiah.
That's tough, man. I would say it's like picking out my favorite. I don't have any kids, but his music is my kids, I guess. I mean, it's tough. You can have a rock. I'll just name 3 at this moment. So do not hold it to me. Only on this date, March 16th. This is what I was feeling.
Okay, what you got for me?
Rock City, She's Always in My Hair, I Love You and Me.
Wait, what was the first one?
Erotic City.
Okay. All right.
Erotic City, She's Always in My Hair, I Love You and Me. But then you got to have that whole Scandalous Sex Suite. See?
Not a B-side. Don't count that as B-side.
But that's a 12 only, right?
It's not a B-side. No, I'm with you. It's not a B-side.
Yeah.
Now, if I ask you what your favorite long version is, you can put that in there. If I ask you what's your favorite long version, non-ELP version?
Now it'd be
mine is easy though.
This Scandalous Sex Suite.
Which one's yours?
Scandalous Sex Suite.
I was gonna say mine was easy, but it's actually a toss up between 2, depending on the day. Violet the Organ Grinder.
Yes.
But always, at least the top 2, always is the long version of, and just because of the horn break in the middle, another love a hole in your head.
There's so many to choose from, and thank God we don't have to
that horn break right there is just spectacular. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go. All right, it's much better.
Thank God we don't have to choose. It's all like on this date, that's what I would choose. But then as soon as 1201 would hit, it would be 3 different other ones.
It'd be another one. All right, I'm going to shut up and just answer your questions now. I've been talking too much.
I enjoy it. We all enjoy it. Definitely. So the Black Album. And again, he opened up our world to bootlegs, with the Black Album and other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
shout out to 2 very special stores. One, I can't remember the name of either of them. One, when I was in Boston, that was on Mass Ave, right before you got to Cambridge Square, which is where I found so many wonderful bootlegs of Prince, be it Vienna Second Night, be it, I think it's where I may have gotten Live at the Rex there as well. Nice. And then there was a place on 8th Street, West 8th Street in New York City that was for bootlegs.
See, I can mention more places now because they're no longer in existence. So I can't get in trouble. We have Bleecker Bob's on Melrose. You had Aaron's Records in Santa Monica, and then Music Mayhem. They had 2 locations, and that's where I found the records, and that's where I found the Beautiful Experience, the Japan TV special. That's what it was called, right? The Beautiful Experience. So that's how I first got introduced to Days of Wild, and I was just like, I had to stop it and play it again. Days of Wild, amazing.
Hold on, did you wait? Hold on.
Exactly.
Don't get me started.
So here it is. You have Love Sexy. You have this stuff. You're able to meet him for the first time. Then you get the Batman soundtrack. And for me, I was all like, man, it'd be so cool if Prince did the Batman soundtrack. And then I saw in the counter section of LA Times, Prince is doing the soundtrack. I'm like, where did I miss that announcement? But I was like, man, it's a perfect fit. And it totally was. Although that soundtrack did sell more for the Bat than the Man, it was still a good album.
Look, if you go back and visit that, The Future, which one of my, by the way, Future, which was performed on SNL, the one and one and only. I'm sorry, Electric Chair, which was performed on SNL, the one and only time that Patrice Rushen was in his band. And I've had a good fortune to talk to Patrice Rushen about that experience and more of her experiences with Prince. Yes, I Want to Be Your Lover is about Patrice Rushen. But you go back and listen to it now. Look, Vicky Waiting still holds up over time.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and, well, Scandalous, obviously. Arms of Orion is probably it. You know, it's a Prince lover's least favorite song, but I'm telling you, listen to it again. Give it your full ears. It moves well.
Isn't
Loopers,
it
if there's any loopers on here, you know how I feel about that.
It's so funny because to me it seems like that's such a controversial track. It's more than Jughead. How people feel about Arms of Orion is more split than Jughead for sure.
No, Jughead's the worst one ever. No. 3 Shades of Gold is the worst one ever.
What about Purple and Gold?
Where's that? Wait, what's that from?
What's the Minnesota Vikings fight song that he gave him when Brett Favre almost took him to the Super Bowl?
Oh, I forgot about that. I don't count that. I'm talking about something that actually ended up on an album.
Okay.
Well,
Vicky Waiting, Electric Chair, awesome. And of course, yes, that Saturday Night Live band, the one and only appearance, first time Michael B on the drums.
Yeah. Woo! I'm of a mind to make some mookie. Phone book.
See, your voice and Frankie Crocker's and Donnie Simpson's and Casey Kasem is what when I was doing college radio. Now, those are the voices to me that mattered. We had Rick Dees here. No disrespect to Rick Dees. He did his thing.
Love Rick.
Right. Same with Jay.
Everybody's doing the disco.
But to me, thankful for yourself, thankful for Frankie Crocker, thankful for Donnie Simpson, because those are things that I was into and I would search for and look for. You know, yeah. So those were great. And of course, Frankie Crocker being such a big fan, you know, and being from the old school, you know, he was able to get some stuff that no one had, whether it was having Diamonds and Pearls on with Mr. Bell from A Different World and just other live footage that you couldn't get anywhere at that time except for Friday Night Videos, which was kind of cool. Although BET probably felt a little slighted, but BET would get Daddy Pop and a few other things that no one else got as well.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I wasn't there at the time. I was still in radio. Yeah, of course I was. That was 91, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 91. Yeah, I was still in ILD. But I will say that the first time I ever heard, you'll know this, Billy Sparks, who I've got to try to track down again, literally came to my apartment because he knew I was a Prince fan, and I mentioned Terrell Calloway, who was a promoter who was tight with Prince in the early days. And so one of the things I loved about Prince is, like, if you were tight with him early, he stuck with you for a while. Like, even through Purple Rain, like, if you were there and you showed him love early, he stayed with you, right? So Terrell Calloway is someone who showed him love early, and so, you know, he's the guy who booked him at that Metro for the '86 show, and he was the person who booked him in Boston for times after that. And he and Billy were tight, and, you know, I became tight with Terrell and Billy. And Billy came and played. My name is Arnold Crabtree III. I got mohos in a golf course. It was Joy and Repetition, but it used to go into something else. So first time I heard that, he brought, and I had a cassette of it once, and then I lost it. But it used to go into another song, and I can't remember what it was.
You had From I Know into Alphabet Street.
I knew that one. But
there was Joy and Repetition as well. It has that line repeating. You're right on that. I'm sure Rodney's in the room. Rodney may know that. So we'll see comments.
It was sure. I think maybe it was part of the Crystal Ball, but there was a whole nother use of that. And I know used it twice, both in Graffiti Bridge and in Love Sexy album, but there was another use of it that felt like it was crystal ballish. I can't remember it now. The way my brain works, it kind of sometimes.
You know, it's going to come up. We're going to have it on a random iPhone, iPod thing, and it's just going to randomly going to come up in a few days. And we're going to be like, there we go.
No, but it was something that was never released. That's the thing. The combination of those voices were never released. So I know you have it somewhere, but I don't know what it is.
There was some stuff that he would ask me that wasn't released, and he would ask me to send to him, and I'd send to him. You know, whether it was the Tamar album, which we just had on, or some other stuff that he needed for Purple Picks of the Week. But it's just he just didn't want you promoting it. So
where's my Tamar? Where's my Tamar? Oh, where's my Tamar? I come bearing. Wait, let me get that light. Get the light off. The light is too. Can you see it or no?
Yes.
It feels like it's really bright.
Nope.
It feels really bright.
There you go. Yep, got it. Perfect. With the band, huh? You're in the band.
There you go. Yes, I played the glockenspiel. I played the glockenspiel in the Prince band, so I was very happy about that. Very
better than people that can only play the skin flute.
Yes. Tamar's name is going to come up later in this conversation when we talk about 3121. By the way,
cool.
Am I taking you way off? Am I taking you way off of what we should be talking about? By the way,
no, I am enjoying this. I'm enjoying this.
Just make sure.
I hope you're enjoying it. I think everyone else is enjoying it.
Dude, I'm having a blast.
Yes.
Wait, I should have another device so I can follow this on YouTube and Facebook, right?
For what reason? I mean, there should be a.
Just like see comments. I want to see comments and
respond to comments.
Your
left-hand side that allows you to view comments.
Let's see. No, that's not it. Oh, get down! Can you still see me?
Yeah, and then that way,
okay.
you can see YouTube and Facebook comments. Unlike all of them that don't see their own. Yep.
Keep going. All right. I'm listening now. I'm not. I can't see me anymore, but that's perfectly fine. I don't need to, because I can see the comments. Keep going.
Someone's asking where is the gatekeeper, Ruth, and we're getting into that. So about
Ruth. We're gonna. Oh, trust me. Wait a minute. Ruth's name is definitely coming up in this conversation.
Yeah, she's awesome. Now, what's funny is right. Ruth better feel the love, or if she doesn't watch this live, she'll be feeling it. Now, because I remember you saying that you're nerding out, you had to be front row for Prince concerts and all this stuff. I remember at one of the 77 Beverly Park parties where someone was getting on the stage to say that Prince is about to take the stage. You had Spike Lee and Dane Cook fighting for a spot right underneath the mic. So
okay, so yeah, that was the Beverly Park parties, right?
Yes. That
was the one where the lucite was over the pool.
Believe that one. They had it first set up in the living room. Then they did have some outside for the book party release.
Yes, got it. And then there was was there another one where there was, because the one where he put lucite over the pool, but it felt like it was indoors.
That was the last house in 2011.
There we go. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes all the sense in the world.
The funny part of that in the 2011 house party is he went, he had Maceo up there and he had, oh my God, John Blackwell on drums. And then he leads us in doing the electric slide on top of the pool. That's just one of those moments where you're like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
Those parties were so.
Wait, were you there the night that I sang I Want to Be Free?
I believe so. And I was there the night when you were at the 3121 party where he's like, Steven, when he starts doing a little play that funky music and Steven, and he hands you the microphone. See,
you were there for that. You were there for that.
Yes.
All right, we're not ready for that story yet. We got to build up to that one. Or you want it now? What do you want? Is you first now?
Whatever you want to do. We can jump everywhere. I mean, we were in the early. we're a Batman soundtrack and go to Graffiti Bridge. Did you see that in the movie theater?
Oh my God! Let's stay with. Okay. You want to talk about Graffiti Bridge? Okay, but we have to come back and play that funky music. So
yes.
The 3121 party in LA or the one in New York?
LA I was at, not New York.
You weren't to play the funky music in New York?
No.
Okay, that's it. Okay. So Graffiti Bridge
is
the only other time besides the Rolling Stones, and that time he slipped on stage at Radio City Music Hall and fell on his ass during Scandalous, where I saw Prince take an L. I admit it. So, you know, he obviously he had a good run with Purple Rain. Not so much with Under the Cherry Moon, although I thought that was very good, and Record Store still lives to this day. The live concert of Sign of the Times was spectacular. So in 89, 89, right? 89 or 90 for Graffiti Bridge. Which one was it?
90.
So the premiere of Graffiti Bridge is at the Ziegfeld Theater. Big ass theater that's on 55th or 54th. Literally, I don't know to give too much away, but like literally 3 blocks from where I am right now. Yeah. Ziegfeld Theater. Morris Day's there, Time's there, Rome's there. I think Sheila's there. Like it's all like everybody's there in the theater, and I can see it to this day. And you know, I don't even have that once in '88, and so the theater's full, it's anticipation full of folks. And Prince walks in. He's wearing all white. He's in all white. Hold on, let me turn this down because my battery's telling me it's about to be a problem. He's in all white. And so he comes in, he just sits down, and the movie starts. People were laughing in all the wrong places. Like it was just it went as badly as you could expect. And at the end of when lights come on, everybody looks back and he's gone. He had checked out a while ago. Everybody goes to the after party. All the instruments are set up. All the instruments are set up for like an after party. And I'm like, I'm looking forward to this. From that night, I have a picture with Morris Day, George Clinton, Jerome, and Prince doesn't even come to the party, let alone play. Like it did not go well. That night did not go well. But again, I challenge you once again, go back to the Graffiti Bridge album, pull out Elephant and Flowers, right? Pull out Weak and Funk, right? Pull out New Power Generation. To me, it kind of stands all time.
Right. I was always surprised at Controversy magazine when it came out that they said that was one of like the lowest rated tracks was New Power Generation. Same with Weekend Funk. But yeah, Joint Repetition, come on, the question of you. The question of you.
Another went to the nude tour following that in London, again, Wembley Arena. I think Blue Velvet had just come out because Nicolas Cage was there on a press junket. He was there in the audience as well. I remember that very clearly. A shout out to my good friend Stephanie Rogan, with whom I went. And I was so happy he put Question of You in the set. Although the show I saw, the guitar didn't turn on when he tried to do the guitar solo. It didn't turn on until like halfway through the solo. But still one of my favorite songs, Question of You. Huh! Did I lose you? You there? Jeremiah's frozen again. So I would tell you more about the new tour. Oh, are you back? I don't know. Wait. Okay. I know. I feel like I'm here, but I'm not sure that Dr. Funkenberry's here. Okay. So what can I tell you more about? So the Question of You, one of those things, you got up and he stood in a place that was over on stage right. And I remember it was up and he pulls out the guitar and starts playing it. And it's like, this is not really going well. And then finally halfway it turned on. But I truly believe that Graffiti Bridge, of course, has Round and Round with Tevin Campbell. It still would stand all time. And by the way, I'd like to point out that this is the set list. I'm sorry. So this is the set list from the 88 after party for Love Sexy Tour, September of 1988, right? Mm-hmm. Still Would Stand All Time was on the set list. Still Would Stand All Time. It was 2 years before it made it to the album, but it was still He was there. So that's it. You're back.
I don't know what's happening, but thankfully you keep going with it, and I'm more than fine with it.
Keep going with it. I'm good. I got this.
Yeah, Graffiti Bridge, a lot of it was quote unquote vault material, you know, and the way Graffiti Bridge went, I hear he was wanting to release Diamonds and Pearls really quickly after Graffiti Bridge. And then Warner was like,
what was the time between the two of those?
Not even a year. Like
it wasn't a year, right?
It was August in 1990 when Graffiti Bridge, the soundtrack was released, and then September the movie came out. And of course, it was like they made the critics' top 10, Graffiti Bridge. But Diamonds and Pearls, you know, here it was after releasing New Power Generation. Then you released The Times, Shake. You released with latest
Shake.
Melody Cool, and then Tevin Campbell's Round and Round, which started getting radio play in spring of '91. But then by June 7th, there was that Get Off. You know, he was already trying to move on from Graffiti Bridge really quick. And I hear that Warner's was like, slow down.
Okay, so two things. One, you noticed that, and I believe it happened in both cases, in 3 cases, that the movie is followed less than a year later by the album, right? So June of '84 brings you Purple Rain, and March or April of '85 brings you
Around the World in a Day.
Thank you very much. Around the World in a Day. Parade comes out, and less than a year later, or just over a year later, brings you Sign of the Times. And as Jeremiah just said, you know, Diamonds and Pearls was right after that. Which I think Diamonds and Pearls. What's that?
If it was up to him, it would have been released even earlier.
Well, that was the thing. Look, he wanted to release much more music. Look, the Vault has proven that his pen and studio ability from '83, and I put it all the way through '91, was unparalleled, except maybe by the Beatles, and that was 2 people working at once, right? That's right. 2 different people working. No solo artist in that span of time, I think, has had so many spectacular records. Right. I could be wrong, and in the comments, I hope you correct me, but like that's the way that goes. All right, I may have to change the way this goes in a minute.
Okay, I mean, even with Sinatra, with the long career that he had, he wasn't arranging and producing everything himself. You know, he had people from Quincy Jones later in his career to Dorsey back in the 30s and 40s, and in his heyday in the 50s after winning an Oscar From Here to Eternity. But Prince, by himself, he truly was a one-man band. I remember, you know, him talking about how he, you know, the 1999 album, and then the Vanity 6 album, and the Time album. And then when the 1999 Deluxe Edition comes out a few years ago, to have 2 records worth of unreleased material from that time period where he did in 1999 a double album already, to have another double album, Vanity 6, B-sides, and the Time.
Yeah.
When he said can't nobody us, he was right.
Can't nobody. All right. I'm going to the comments right quick. More outtakes from the BT interview. Oh, BB, you know, that's very funny. So I've been unable to look at that interview all the way through since Prince passed. I can't, and we'll talk about that day and what happened that day and everything else later, but I've not been able to look at that interview, but I do believe, I mean, I know there are outtakes from the interview, but I don't think there's anything. I have to look at it. I'm going to try to find the outtakes from that interview, like the full interview. He could not have been kinder that day. We'll talk about that later.
Are people commenting about you changing your shirts just like you do with your Instagram lives?
Hopefully no, I haven't. If they have, I haven't seen that. Oh, did I change my shirt? I hadn't noticed that.
I caught it.
Sup, Loopers? Anybody Loopers? I appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you checking this out. Seeing how we're going. Pamela Weiss got the wardrobe changed. Yeah, you know, some little Prince parade era, going backwards as opposed to forwards.
Very cool. We enjoy it. Diamonds and Pearls, massive success, but he knew after Graffiti Bridge. Go ahead.
That's what it is. Diamonds and Pearls. So, okay, so Graffiti Bridge, I think they still have a single up. And then all of a sudden, in my radio station, WILD, we get this 12-inch single that's got art that's clearly by him that just says "Get Off." And so I open it, and there's I forget the exact timing, but I think it's 10 minutes, the original "Get Off" on this single. I don't know if you have a copy of this. I think I still have mine.
Yes.
But so "Get Off" was something that was sent only to radio stations at first, and then he did the edit, which he club mix is how he introduces it on the album. But literally out of nowhere, and as I understand it, the label was not all that happy that he sent it to a few people.
They weren't happy about stuff. What's funny is when I first heard "Get Off," I had the New Power Generation, Maxi single, and there was "Get Off" and "Lubricated Lady" on it. People were like, "Oh, he's releasing a new song called "Get Off." I'm like, no, that was a B-side to a song. Like, no, we got it to our radio station. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And of course, by the time that 12-inch version, the damn near 10 minutes gets out, and by the time the single was released in the video, Steve Still Curly worked his magic and made it a little bit different with the production. So I give it up to him on that one. And there's a few that I have that haven't made it out that are different remixes that would have elements of Alphabet Street and other things in it that Steve did, which hopefully if there is going to be a deluxe edition of that, eventually we will get that version for everyone else to hear. But Diamonds and Pearls, I remember Power 106 out here. They said that our Make It or Break It tonight is going to be Prince. And they were saying that people were already calling in to break it before they even played it. That's how unpopular.
To break it?
The time. Yeah. I mean, it was
91, after Diamonds and Pearls?
No, after Graffiti Bridge. Before Get Off even got played on the radio.
Oh, right.
And of course, that's when Us Magazine had their in and out list, and it was in Fresh Prince, out Prince, all that other garbage that was going on. But then here it was. He does the MTV Video Music Awards, that Get Off performance, and then the Arsenio Hall show. Huge, because who is giving anyone a full hour to any artist at that time? No one.
Was that the Daddy Pop show?
Yes. Yeah. And they filmed it before
Loopers know that I'm partial to that show. I've played probably every second of that show on my IG Live. Again, at Stephen Grant Hill. If you don't follow me, please do.
You guys
if you're a Prince fan.
Comments if you can. I don't want to put it wrong, looking at all these different things, my likes. But yes, I always appreciate your shows and doing that. But that's where we're getting first elements of Diamonds and Pearls right into Let's Go Crazy. And then he also did the Special Olympics, and they only show the Diamonds and Pearls version of that on ABC TV. But
right. Yes.
Later gave us the Baby I'm a Star mixed with a little bit of Push, which was cool. But from getting bashed the way he got bashed, Diamonds and Pearls, tremendous hit album. And I think it gets slept on by so many because it is the second bestseller after Purple Rain. It's Diamonds and Pearls. Not Around the World in a Day, not Parade, not Sign of the Times, but Diamonds and Pearls.
So so if I'm not mistaken, that is the only album that gave him 2 top 10s after Purple Rain, right? So Cream and Diamonds and Pearls. Diamonds and Pearls was the number 2 record. I remember because I was so. Oh wait, I used to know the record that kept him out of number 1. It was some crazy record that kept him out of number 1. Do you know what it is? What is
it? Fred, I'm Too Sexy kept Diamonds and Pearls.
Right. I knew it was some crazy record that kept him out of number 1. Kept Diamonds and Pearls out of number 1. But that was the last time we had. Last time we had 2 songs, and Diamonds and Pearls really just was like I'm going to prove to you that I can make a number. I can make a top 10 record.
Right. And that was it. Doing interviews with Spin, doing interviews with other magazines at that time. He was letting it be known, I knew how to make a hit after my second record. And he was going to show you could do it. But, it's why could I do that when I could do this?
Yeah. Shout out, by the way, shout out to my college mate, Scott Polson Bryant, one of the people who he did one of those interviews with. Scott Polson Bryant had a great Prince interview.
Very cool.
He had the interview where Prince said they just be sleeping on my slow jams.
And like I remember Insatiable was climbing up the R&B charts, and then it got surpassed by Diamonds and Pearls. So on the R&B charts, it was Diamonds and Pearls #1. Insatiable, I believe, was #2. So that's crazy.
I love that. I love that.
Because Insatiable is for the R&B market. Go ahead,
Jeremiah. What you got? Insatiable. If you have, you can only take one on the desert island. Insatiable or Scandalous?
I'm not going on no desert island if I have to make that choice.
No, Insatiable or Scandalous? People in the chats, tell us, Insatiable or Scandalous? Which one are you taking? Insatiable. You only get one. You only get one. Insatiable or Scandalous?
If it's the 17-minute version of Scandalous, I'll take it because it's the longer version. I think like that. Except for the album version, it's probably that super long version. If that's all I can take with me, and then here's hoping that some girl ends up on the island so we can get to that.
I am without a doubt taking. I admit I'm taking Insatiable.
All right, fair enough. You probably like the Insatiable video better than the Scandalous video.
Insatiable, you show your power. Look, he's the king of clever. He's the king of clever, and that means a lot.
Right. And then Diamonds Pearls huge. Cream, I felt it's because Get Off was finally starting to get the play it deserved after the MTV Awards performance. But Cream was released. So I think that Cream, the Get Off success, because people are asking for the new Prince, are calling in. Instead of Get Off, it is Cream. Because Get Off made it to number 13 while Cream was being released. If they would have not put it out first, it may have made top 10. But what a great video. Cream, a great song too.
Cream is a great song. And one of the cool things about that, the time I got to interview him in 2004, is he does a great version of Cream just by himself on the guitar. Right. He's a great version of that and plays with the audience, and it was just, Cream is a spectacular song. And
then here comes the problem for me was when he signed the $100 million contract, but it really wasn't $100 million. It was because of Michael getting big contracts and Janet getting big contracts, But here it was that they were hoping, since Diamonds and Pearls hit that 5 million mark, that if they put an incentive for him to have sales. So if you sell we're going to give you an advance of 10 million. But if you don't sell 5 million, you got to give 5 million back. They were hoping that would slow down his productivity. And I wish Alan or someone, I have to talk about Alan with that one day. What made him sign that contract? Because he didn't care about money. He cared about when he could release stuff.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure to say it's fair to say he didn't care about money. He cared about his art more than money, but he wanted to be paid fairly, and that's something that's really, really consistent. Especially starting around this period, is that he really wanted to make sure that money wasn't the main thing. He wanted to get his art out, but he wanted to make sure he could be paid consistently for that. Really.
And more than other artists that he felt creative.
Well, did I lose you? Am I lose you there?
For sure.
Well, all right. Wait, are you there? You sure? Am I losing you? All right. I think I've lost Jeremiah again, and in that, you know what to do. All right, here's what happens. Y'all have Insatiable. Olga says Insatiable. Elaine says Insatiable. Marie says Scandalous. Lone Ember says Insatiable. Tracy, you got Scandalous. Rachel got Scandalous. Joel, Jason, what's up? Insatiable. Wow, it's really. Are you there? You still there? You back there? Jeremiah, you back? All right, wait. Okay. Scandalous. Okay. I may be outvoted here. Pam Weiss. I heard Insatiable the other day.
Right.
Dr. Funkenberry, you back?
Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, all right. Don't worry about it.
I'm glad you got it.
I'm going down the list. I think Insatiable and Scandalous from our last question is kind of back to back. They're fighting it out, but it's kind of even.
Gotta put that up,
which makes sense because you took Scandalous, I took Insatiable. So,
17-minute version. That's the only reason. If Insatiable had had a 20-minute version, it'd probably be that.
That's right. Oh, by the way, Prince, if I could have voted for you, I would have voted for you 17 times. of the corniest. It's one of the corniest things I ever said, Jeremiah. It's one of the corniest things I ever said in my entire life. I've said a lot of corny. I've said a lot of corny things. A lot of them. A lot.
And that's, but with the contract, and back to that. So the Symbol album comes out, even though he leaves hits on the floor. Walk Don't Walk could have been a summer hit. Oh, what's this? Don't tell me this is from Earl's Court and this show was canceled.
No, this is Bercy. This is the Bercy, Paris. Wait, 92. That would have been.
That still was a Diamonds and Pearls. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Diamonds and Pearls. I meant to put this up for Diamonds and Pearls tour. Yeah.
Very cool. And successful.
Wait, was that the? Wait.
Huh.
Wait. What was the Rex? What was the Live at the Rex? The one that had Endorphin Machine on it.
92 tour.
Never mind. We're not there yet. Keep going. Because right. I was at the Rex show.
Right.
I was at the Rex show that you can find on CD.
Don't
get me started. Don't get me started.
Found it.
What'd you say?
I have that show somehow, some way. He did Endorphin Machine at that show, Blue Light. I don't know how I know that.
It is literally okay. Are we ready to talk about that show yet?
All right.
No, we're not there yet. We're not there. No, we're not there yet. Linear. Right. I like where you're going. Linear. All right, cool. All right, sorry. I jumped ahead. My fault.
It's all good.
Diamonds and Pearls.
He had Daddy Pop. He was getting remixed. He had Walk Don't Walk, the video shot by Lisa Bonet that's still not out.
No. Have you seen it?
Huh?
Have you seen Walk Don't Walk?
I have not seen it. Have you?
No, not at all.
No.
Lisa Bonet. I want to be clear. When it comes to bootlegs and things that are not available, you by far are here, and I'm like here.
No.
Like
Questlove has a beat by everybody there.
Well, that's
talking to Amir like that.
That's true.
And Amir's
did any of us have Emotional Pump before a year ago?
I know Quest had it, and that's how some of us had it, was him playing at a First Avenue show.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Some people did.
The recorded version of Emotional Pump. Did you have it? Did you have it more than a year ago?
So Lakers are doing pretty good this year, huh?
Dude, I want to give you your props because that's the one song of all the bootlegs I've heard. I didn't have it, and I found it probably about a year ago, and it's the one song I'm like, how did this not make any album? I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. 1992.
You're not jumping ahead, but there's certain stuff that I came across or whatever, and I just would be asked not to share it. I wouldn't share it, and to this day. There's even stuff that he sent me later on in the later years. There's stuff that he had me edit and was put out, and I have a longer version or things like that. I don't want to be bugged for things like that. There was just a certain trust going on, and I didn't want to mess with trust.
I understand that.
1992. All right, so leading on it to where I feel Daddy Pop is getting remixed, and they're playing it on Kiss FM after 2:00 in the morning.
Daddy Pop.
Yeah, they had different remixes of it that gave it more of a New Jack Swing vibe. There's remixes already done probably by Steve Silk that haven't been put out. Walk Don't Walk. And then here it is, June 7th. I'm being told, hey man, did you listen to 92.3 The Beat this morning? I went, they were going to play the new Prince song. And I'm like, wait, Walk Don't Walk? Daddy Pop is like, no, a new song called Sexy MF. And they're going to play it unedited.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I made sure it's after school, didn't do nothing, had a new cassette in there. And that was my first time hearing Sexy MF. They played it unedited on 92.3 out here.
Yes.
And I was shocked.
It was because that was his birthday in 93, right? His birthday in 93 or 92?
92.
92.
Yeah. And then so there went Walk Don't Walk. There went Daddy Pop. Nope. We're going to have a new album out now. And then by the time My Name is Prince comes out, he's the $100 million man.
So wait, so this was
that was the right tour. Yeah.
So no. So this is July of 92.
Right.
So he must have done XXXMF.
Yeah, there was Sexy MF being done at that show and Damn You as well on that tour.
Right. Right.
My brain works differently. What can I say?
No, I appreciate it. Mine is old and decrepit. The way my brain works is it remembers a whole bunch about some things and then nothing about other things.
But hopefully during our conversation,
loopers know this to be true.
Well, hopefully during our conversation, we've had things that you never thought about before that triggered your memory. Because that's what I'm told happens when people do interviews with me. There's stuff that they haven't remembered in 30 years, and it gets triggered by something that's asked. So hopefully that's happened to
100%. 100%.
Cool.
So that's so 92 that starts. Yes, that 92 that starts.
Right. And then the symbol album drops. People aren't into it as much as Diamonds and Pearls. But of course, it's just like with Purple Rain to Around the World in a Day. If you thought you're getting Diamonds and Pearls Part 2, you're not going to get it.
Right.
But come on, man. It had 7 on there. 7 is the max. That was screaming for the dance floors to be released with different remixes and all that stuff. Yes,
so
3 Chains of Gold was his little bohemian.
I mean, I have no problem saying that. 3 Chains of Gold.
Yeah, I feel that was him just showing that he wanted to do Bohemian Rhapsody and he could. To me, that's because remember at that time, Freddie Mercury passed away, Wayne's World came out, and then here the Symbol album was called The Opera, just like Night at the Opera of Queen's 1976 album. That's why I felt that that 3 Chains of Gold even came out. That's my little thing behind it, that he had to have it on there, but not one of the on there. I'll admit it. Even with Arrogance, not one of the strongest tracks on there.
I love that. And the late of Arrogance.
Right. But that's when you get Pimp Rag, Tootsie Pop, and a Cane. You get that line from there, so it can't be that.
Rag, Tootsie Pop, and a Pimp Rag, Tootsie Pop, and a Cane.
Right.
Is it Pimp Rag, Tootsie Pop, and a Cane?
Right. Yep. You got it.
All right. So the singles from that album were what? They were Sexy MF.
My Name is Prince. 7.
My Name is Prince.
The Morning Papers.
No, don't forget. No, don't forget. Love to the Nines.
That was
a radio single. They gave that to radio to try to play that because I remember I remixed it. Right. I reordered it, and it was I thought it was a really good reorder because it needed an intro.
Yeah, that was given to radio, but that was a single at that time.
Right, you're right. In Morning Papers, who my afternoon person Dave Cruz hated playing that because I added it because it was Prince and I was the program director of the radio station, but Dave Cruz hated playing that.
Now, but that was it, and then it was by February, March, he already lost interest in that album, and he was wanting to release an EP on his birthday, and Warner's was like, "No, man, you haven't sold 5 million copies yet." At that time, I think that the Symbol album was 2.5 million sold or shipped, as they try to say at times.
Right,
but
of course.
Peach, Pope, Endorphin Machine, and there's 2 other songs I'm forgetting right now. They're supposed to be part of that, and they all had one song titles. Go ahead.
So Peach, Pope, Endorphin Machine, because again, now we get to 1993. Now we get to the summer of 93, where again, he tours Europe but does not go to America. Now, what I need you to understand is that my entire I'm a program director at WIOD in Boston, and my entire vacation scheme is planned around when Prince tours. I've already showed you this. Showed you this from 92. I can't find my 93 one.
93, you
no, so 92, he plays an after show at the Bandouche, and I can't get in. I'm at the door. The door of the Bandouche, and I can't get in.
Wow.
93, he comes over and plays with the Symbol tour.
He did a U.S. tour. He did Radio City Music Hall and did the Universal Amphitheater out here. He did do a small U.S. tour.
But was that after the European tour or before?
That was before the European tour because he did an Act 2 overseas after he changed his name from Prince to the Symbol. That was called the Act 2 tour.
All right, I got it. I may have to jump and get an artifact in a minute.
It's all good.
I'm forgetting the time, but I know that. Okay, so you're saying the Rex show was 93?
Yes. It was later summer that year of 93, at least here in America. But that was the show overseas at Live at the Rex. Yes.
Okay.
There was a
So
93
Live at the Rex was after a show at the Bercy. If not, it wasn't this show at the Bercy, but it was another show at the Bercy the year later. And so I'll make this story short. Am I going on too long? You sure?
Man,
Yeah.
I just want to because
So,
there was the Act One.
So I'm going to the Bercy show, and I'm staying with friends of mine who live out near Euro Disney. And so there's trains, like it's about an hour outside. You get a train out of the city. And so I go to the Bercy show with my man John. It's a longer story. Look, man John, we go to the Bercy show. He had never seen Prince before. I always love to introduce people to Prince. See, it's a dope ass show. It is the show. It's a bomb. We're about to go home. We're like, okay, we got to catch the train. We got to hurry catch the train because the last train leaves at like 11 something. We literally get to the station and the last train is pulling out of the station. We're like, oh hell! Now we have to be here till like 5 o'clock in the morning, like just rolling around Paris. All right. Well, I heard there was going to be something at the Rex. Let's go to the Rex. We go to the Rex. I don't remember how I got in, but we get into the Rex. If you can find Prince live from the Rex in 1993, it's the first time I ever heard Mandorfa Machine. It's the first time I heard Johnny. It's the first time I heard Peach. Johnny, Peach. There's something else, but more than anything else. Black. Oh yes. Oh yes. By the way, oh my God, I was losing my mind. And so, but the thing I remember most is that Prince comes out on stage, and he dives into the audience. Like he's only done that a few times, but he dove into the audience. He plays the show. He goes off. He comes back on for the encore, and I can't remember the order of songs. He goes off again, and then the only reason we stayed in the club is that like, screw it, we've got to stay somewhere until the train leaves at 5. So until they kick us out, we're just going to stay in the club. And so when they realize he's not coming back again, people leave. People left the club. People left, and there's like literally there's like 50 people left in the club for whatever reason. He comes back on stage and plays whatever the last 3 things are you hear on that thing. But there's literally just 50 of us in the audience, and I would have left, except we're just needing a place to stay until the trains start going back out to Euro Disney. The Rex show is without a doubt the best small club show I saw, and rivals just on energy. He dove into the audience. He was present. He was energetic the entire night. And again, Peach, a bit of Peach, Pope, Endorphin Machine, Johnny, Black MFs in the house. First time ever hear it live at the Rex. Boom. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Especially, the whole thing with the solo album not being the success it should have been. But I felt that Warner's at that time, because of how much money he was getting, they weren't putting as much promotional dollars into it. The same thing happened with REM when they signed their big deal, and then Monster didn't get the push after What's Your Frequency, Kenneth. So here it was, him like after the LA shows in 93, that was the end of the tour. He said that he's retiring. And then a month later, it was him changing his name on his birthday from Prince to the Symbol. So you had all these other things happening. And then EP does come out, but then he goes overseas, does the Act 2 tour. And it's basically a hits tour mixed in with stuff. But at the after shows, you're getting all this new material, like Endorphin Machine, Black MFs in the house, all these other things that you were talking about. It's just crazy.
Right. That tour was called the Act 1 tour, right? Act 1 was Europe. Act 2 was America, right?
Act 1 was the US. Act 2 was the UK, was overseas.
Really?
Act 2. Yeah.
So Act 1.
Yeah. They did.
So I saw the UK version after. So the Rex was after. Was after Act 2?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Act 1, he did Radio City Music Hall. He did smaller venues, and it was the whole storyline of like, Maite being a princess, and like she was with Saudi Arabian show.
Okay. Was that the one where he broke his ass? Where he fell on his ass?
Yeah, that was Radio City Music.
So right, I was at that show. I was definitely at that show because everybody in the audience was like, oh.
dude, the Inquirer had such a freaking run with those pictures. That's why I'm sure he's like, no more photos, no more cameras. Anyway.
Okay.
But
okay, two things because I'm about to run out of batteries here, so I'm going to have to do this a different way. So give me 2 minutes. You got this, okay?
Okay.
Right back.
Go ahead. Gotcha. So yeah, 93 tour. Let's look at some of your questions. Sacrifice of Victor at the Rex as well. Correct. So let's see what's going on. Just getting some of your questions. I'm having to view this a different way right now. Yep. Act 2, London, Wembley Stadium. We need a show like this every week. If Steven wants to come on, or just follow his live feeds, because he does sometimes talk when he does his sets. You can always get him to do a print set for sure. So, you know, yeah, the pics of him falling. Just imagine TMZ back then, the run they would have had with that. So, but that was such an interesting time. The whole name change thing. At least for me, it was harder to find him as a fan because Warner Brothers wasn't promoting him. And then you get, like I said, you go to these bootleg shops and they would have the Beautiful Experience Japan TV special. And that's like I first heard Days of Wild and Live at the Rex, finding that, Endorphin Machine, seeing all these songs on there that I weren't familiar with. So when people sometimes say that people left Prince, it's not true. During the 90s, it was harder to follow him. And I was a hardcore fan. You'd have to get Uptown magazine, and then Controversy folded after the Act 2 tour. So you had to get Uptown. You had to get the Prince Family newsletter. There wasn't ways of promoting him. So when people say that, you know, people stopped supporting Prince or he lost his audience, then it wasn't true. It was harder for them to find his stuff. As I said, hardcore fan, and I had a hard time following during that period. All of a sudden, we get Love Sign out, and we got One Hair and New Funk. Then you had Maite's Most Beautiful Boy in the World coming out. All these different things were happening with very little promotion, even though you had Bellmark behind it. Bellmark wasn't a Warner Brothers. So, you know, it's just all these things when people talk about that. It wasn't that certain fans stopped following Prince. It's that it became, I would let other people know about it and things like that. But, and when we get Steven back in without an outfit change, I'm shocked. We'll get in on that and I'll have him express it.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm not back yet. I got to go. No I'll be right back. Yeah. I just want to make sure that worked. Okay.
All right. A lot of radio ticket giveaways at that time. For which one? I know for the 93 Act 1 tour, there was ticket giveaways. There was promotion for that, which I completely appreciate, and we'll get into that another time. People can't remember what it was like without cell phones, for sure. So, yeah, Prince Family newsletter, Uptown magazine. It was hard to follow him. So you can't say that people fell off during that period. It was just, there was no promotion, and Prince didn't want Warner Brothers to know what he was up to. Like when he was trying to release the Undertaker EP with the Guitar World magazine, he didn't want Warner Brothers knowing about that, because as soon as they found out about it, they put a stop to it coming out. So to me, it was that, and I would be the guy letting everyone else know about what was going on with Prince at that time. Before the internet, before things, I'd be working at record stores, going to record stores trying to look for this product or say this stuff is coming out. There we go. We had to get the outfit change in, man. Thank you.
What? No. Oh no. You mean the official nude tour? You mean the official nude tour shirt? No, that was just, you know, I just happen to have that. I just happen to wait. Hold on.
Little jelly.
Can you hear me? No.
Yes.
Just the official nude tour shirt. No, nothing. No, nothing. Just, you know, just a little something.
Now.
Oh wait. The other thing. Wait. There was another thing I was gonna have. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. No, keep going. I'm listening. What do you want me to say?
No, how after the Symbol album, between Come and the Gold Express, it was very, very hard to follow Prince because he wasn't letting Warner Brothers know what he was up to. And you'd have to be part of like...
Oh, that was the beginning of the end. Yeah, that was the beginning of the end.
Uptown
I want to show you this. This picture was taken by Maite at the Act 2 show, Act 1 show in U.S. In Worcester, Massachusetts, when Prince performed. I don't know if you remember, they had people who know they had the Polaroid cameras that were taking pictures of people. This was night one, where they would take pictures of the audience and hand them the pictures. This is my Polaroid that Maite took from the stage. This had to be night one, only because I know that on night two, I was on stage dancing with Maite and Prince. So that's
Hopefully
that.
people can hear Stephen, although I can't.
Oh, can you hear me?
Stephen and hear myself.
Wait, can you hear me?
That's for sure.
Wait, all right, let me make sure. Can you still hear? Can you hear me? All right, so I think I may be on. Jeremiah, you there? Are you there? Hey, people, if you can hear me, please let me know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, okay, cool. Is my man still there? Nope, it's me, just me. All right, here we go. There it is. That's it. Taken by Maite from the stage in Worcester, Massachusetts. Along with that, I was lucky enough to be in the front row. I'm not going to identify. I decided not to identify anybody on this one. So yeah, that's it. I want to find that picture. So it's funny, right? Like right around this time is where I was looking for bootlegs, mostly from 87 to 91. And Funkenberry is going to be far more versed on what happens next than I am. I'm going to try to join in, and I hope we're keeping you entertained. If you have any questions until he comes back, please fire up some questions. Let me know. Now that I'm powering up this, I can turn it all the way up and I can actually see things. I might be there. I was near the front of that show. Thomas Zane, you in Worcester, Massachusetts at that show? My favorite song in that show was "She's Always in My Hair." The way they went and said, "She's always in my hair." Did Prince give me any advice during my numerous conversation? One of them was yes, I should always keep a turquoise pocket square ready at the ready. I'm in the beginning of that video in the picture behind you. What are you talking about? Michelle, what are you talking about? Looper, what are you talking about? A private story about Prince you never told anybody. We're going to get to that, I promise you, because we're getting up, when we get to 3121. Stacey Boyd, I appreciate that. Look, the BT Prince tribute, which we'll talk about later, I've never talked about that. That's the story I'm going to talk about, because I've never talked about what that meant to me and what I heard about it from Prince's camp after that. Are you back, Maya? All right, cool. You got this. I'm back. You got this. Right.
But I'm going to try to see what the problem is. So if you don't mind, I'm going to let you be by yourself just for a little bit of time.
I got it.
And then just talk about the 90s. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not going to be able to see you. So just let me, just hit me with a voice when you're back. All right. I'm looking at the camera, looking at questions. All right. Questions. Questions. The one outfit picture, one meme. I don't know what that is. Wait. What do you think? Why do I think Prince was so popular on a global scale? Melina, I think he was popular on a global scale because he was changing music, right? He's the first person who made drum machines funky. He gave drum machines a personality. And I think that is one of the reasons why, as the technology of music was changing, he was on the cutting edge of the changing technology of music. Right? We take for granted drum machines now, but 81, 82, 83, there were not that many drum machines. And the fact that he was able to give them personality, that's the case. I'm sorry, it wasn't a turquoise pocket square, it was a pink pocket square, because that's the color. That was my color scheme of my shirt when I interviewed him in 2004. How many Prince shirts do I have? I believe about 10. Bad Andy Woods. What's my favorite song from the Symbol album? I like Arrogance, but my favorite song is Blue Light. Blue Light, absolutely 100%. What happened to D'Angelo? I thought he was supposed to be part of the BT tribute show. I'm going to answer this question. He was supposed to be part of the show, and he pulled out, and he was supposed to do Beautiful Ones, and then he didn't. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know who it is. I'm blanking on the name of the person who did Beautiful Ones. Bilal did Beautiful Ones. And all of a sudden, I wish D'Angelo had been there and done another song. But Bilal did Beautiful Ones unbelievably. What was the real vibe between Prince and Michael? I think friendly competition. I think that would be. I was never with the two of them in the same room, so I can't really answer that. What was my favorite live show? As a tour, Love Sexy Tour, bar none. Love Sexy Tour is my favorite live tour. The Rec show I just described was my favorite live show, just because if I had gotten to that train station 30 seconds earlier, I would not have caught the show at the Rex. That's the way it goes. Prince responds to the Black Lives Matter movement. I would have you reference the song Baltimore, and I think you know the answer to that. Let's see. Bilal crushed it. I'm with you, Stacey. Sure enough. Blue light. Any other questions? Funniest joke I ever heard Prince say was when, after he stopped cursing, he said, like, it's hard for me to stop cursing because I've been cursing, and it's hard for me to get down on the floor because I'm small. I can hump. I can hump before with the best of them. BT tribute to time and Bruno Mars. Yes, that's true. At least it surely was. Okay, you know what? Ruth is on here. I didn't know you were here, Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Ruth, your name is coming up really a lot in a moment. You are in my heart, and I hope to see you in Mexico really soon. I never got the pocket square. I actually wear Secret. I wear women's deodorant all of the time. Shh, don't tell anybody. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. If it's strong enough for a man, I wear it. It smells better. That's actually the truth. But thank you, Ruth. Ruth, of course, used to work with Prince, and we just love Ruth because Ruth is awesome. Best Prince song for making love to: Insatiable. Do I have an original copy of the Black Album? I do not. I have the tape, which I mentioned just now. I've eaten with Prince, and what did I have? I don't remember. He was the first person I ever had with whom I ever had a bento box. Prince was the first person with whom I ever had a bento box, and I don't remember what was in it. It was definitely nothing that had parents because he was against that. I would like to see the Diamonds and Pearls Relux Brian, because I would like to see what would happen, like what other songs he was doing around that time. How many times did I see Prince live? Ivana, here's the thing. I stopped counting at 50, and that was in 1993. I had seen Prince either in sometime in a show 50 times before 1993. I stopped counting. If I had to count, I would say it was over 200. I have been when Prince was playing, I've been in a crowd from as many as 100,000 in Germany, 80,000 in Germany, to as small as literally I was the only person in the room. So look, I'm one of the luckiest people I know. Hey, Jeremiah, you back?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for trying to figure out what the connection
was.
Sorry about that myself.
I've had a good time. No, don't worry about it. I've had a good time answering the questions. We'll come back to questions. Later.
Good.
That's all right. You got it. What you need, buddy?
Not like we were
blast, by the way.
The whole What's up?
I'm having a blast. So thank you very much for inviting me, because I'm having a true blast tonight. It's very rarely I get to geek out on my Prince experiences like this to a crowd that will appreciate that. Go like, oh, Steven, shut the up. God. Oh. And Ruth is on. Ruth is here, by the way. Ruth is here.
Awesome. We were giving her mad props and everything else. Now we're going to have her in it to justify our stories for sure. So, in the 90s, the whole name change stuff, and then Emancipation came out, How were your feelings on that? Did you go to the emancipation party at Paisley Park?
The emancipation party at Paisley Park was October 26th, 1996. I know that because that was my birthday.
Oh, what a birthday.
I had just started. I had been a year and a half at MTV, and so I did go. It was 96, right? 96 is the right year, right?
Yep, you're right.
Yeah. Yep. I don't remember. The thing I remember most about it is he was in a great mood because as he brought out later on, after he played some music, Maite, who was fully pregnant and beautiful. You know, they say how pregnant women have a glow. Maite completely and 100% had the glow. And so he brought her out and he loved up on her. And it couldn't have been a more warm experience at Paisley Park, October 26th, 1996 for the emancipation. Of course, you know, it was unfortunate what happened, around that. So I think it's been fully documented, and Maite revealed this at a memorial that I went to for Prince. But the name of the child was to be Amir, Ahmir. Amir was to be the name of the child that they unfortunately lost in 96.
Right. Yeah. I know that they had another party there that was shown on TV that was nationally syndicated on BET, VH1, MTV. That was on Maite's birthday of November 12th. Talking about another party that was also for the press that you're invited to. Now with that album, we had a more open Prince with the whole Oprah interview. And of course, like, look, we know Americans, probably the worldwide, there's some sort of sense that they're drawn to tragedy. They're also drawn to the comeback. And I thought it was very admirable, at least to myself, and maybe Maite would have a completely different response to this. But of him not wanting to go to Oprah and say the baby died and all this other stuff, just saying our family is good, all this stuff, as tough as that was, if he would have admitted it on Oprah, probably would have sold another 1 million copies because Americans and other people, they love the tragedy and they love the comeback. But that didn't happen. And I think, and this will be another thing that I'll never get Oprah on my show, but I think that she was hurt that they went on the Today Show later in the month, or actually later in December, and then talked about the death and saying, kind of admitting to certain tragedy. It was such, for an album that he's been looking and he was born to make, it really affected a lot of things that was going on and stuff. So I feel that the promotion of emancipation, no matter what we thought or how it was going to be, it didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to. But he was doing TV shows and being more open than he was ever been before, you know?
True. I think, yes, it's true. A couple things about emancipation. It was ahead of its time, obviously, in terms, not just musically, but in terms of the way that was promoted. There weren't a lot of big named artists who were leaving their labels. This is 1996. Now it happens all the time. People leave their labels and make their own things. Rock Nation, people leave their big, but people weren't leaving major labels. They here's the way I like to put it. Baby elephants are able to be kept into place because they put a cuff around their leg, right? They put a cuff around the leg of the elephant, a baby elephant, and tie it to the post, and the baby elephant can't pull away from the cuff. The way they keep adult elephants in place is they put the cuff around the leg of the baby of the adult elephant, and the adult elephant realizing that, oh, when I have the cuff around my leg, I can't move, doesn't move, although with their size at that moment, they could break that cuff at any time.
Right.
That's the music business. When you're a baby act, you need them to break you. When you're an adult and grown act, you're used to having that. So you think, that's what I need. Prince was one of the first major artists to go like, you know what? I appreciate that I had that cuff when I was a baby, but I'm no longer a baby.
Right.
So I can break away from this and take my own chances and use my own fame that you did help me build, and I appreciate that, but I can make my own fame. And so that's what got Emancipation. And Prince famously said about Emancipation, I made more money on Emancipation, even though it didn't sell that much, more than any other album that I made except for Purple Rain.
Right.
Yep. So,
and same with New Power Soul. I believe he said that bought his house in Spain. So and people weren't hip to it at the time. Everyone thought that he lost the plot, of going the indie route and whatever. Although he was getting more money, maybe not up front, but more in the back end.
Yes. And sometimes people wonder about, think about the money's got to come first, and it's first week. No, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right. And he was learning that. Did you, aside from the Emancipation show at Paisley, did you see any of those Love for Another tour dates in 97, 98, or the New Power Festival with Larry Graham and Shaka? Just curious.
So I didn't see the New Power Festival. So here's where my memory gets a little foggy of which dates are which. Okay. So one thing I did see, because, Bercy, as I've shown before, is one of my favorite places to go. So he played Diamonds and Pearls Tour, Symbol Tour, Act 2, I'm sorry. But also, it was the 95-96 run when, number one, he was mixing his own stage, his own show on stage. He would go back and play the mix on stage, number one. Number two, he would play he played a bunch of songs that weren't released. Like literally before Gold Experience, he was playing most of the Gold Experience album. Like he literally played a full arena of shows, full arena show, playing no hits.
Right.
And he filled it because he was Prince. So I do want to say, but this I had the bootlegs. If you were a bootleg person, like
you, me.
That was me. And by the way, I want to point out, because I see some questions. Melina, don't worry. When KRS 88 refers to Stuart, that's me. She likes to call me Stuart.
Stuart?
Oh.
Sorry. You're on that.
It's a longer story. It's a looper thing.
It's okay.
Shameless plug. Loop Obsession every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I just play some music. It's good stuff, good vibes, good company. So come join us Thursday, 7 p.m. On IG Live at Stephen Grant Hill. STEPHEN. STEPHEN Grant Hill. At Stephen Grant Hill.
Only on IG Live they can catch you, right? For that show.
Because I'm so stupid I don't do Twitch.
You have to be
consistently
on Twitch, to be honest with that. You have to be consistently on Twitch to make it work for you. So IG Live is probably the best place for you, as long as you're not playing anything for Sign of the Times.
Oh no, dude! But by the way, if I play live Prince music, I can get away with it. But as soon as I play dude, the reason I knew that Emotional Pump was on the Sign of the Times remix is because I played Emotional Pump because I thought it was still a bootleg track, and then they cut me off. I was like, it must be on the Sign of the Times thing.
Right. Got it.
So, all right.
Yep. What else got on there? But yeah. So during those periods, you did the Love for Another, New Power Festival, in the rave era, how was that for you, aside from Blurry?
So that's the one where he got together with Arista as well. Right? So the one thing I will say about that New Power Soul, I think that was the first one that was on Arista with Clive.
Right. Yes.
For me, I enjoyed the music. I wasn't into the music like I was before, candidly. But that was New Power Soul I remember being amazed by this, is that he knew my name. Right. I had just moved. I think New Power Soul must be late 99, 2000 or 2001. What's New Power Soul?
98 for New Power Soul. And then Crystal Ball was coming out as well. 99 for that. Yeah. 98 was,
wait.
Soul.
All right. So what was Oh, right. No, I was at MTV. I'm sorry. I was at MTV. Right.
Okay.
So what was 2000? What was 2000, 2001?
That was the rave era.
Right. Okay. No, I'm mixing it up. Rave was the first time. Rave was the first time I realized he said my name out loud when Clive did the whole big thing somewhere in Midtown Manhattan, and we were all lined up to say hello to him, and I was going to introduce myself to him again. I'd met him a couple of times. He's like, "Oh, Steven, I heard you made a change over to BT. I appreciate that." And I was like, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah,
Right.
did you say my name?" Yeah.
Whoops.
So Ray was. I thought Ray was 99, 2000, right?
Yes, Rave Unto and Rave Into before Rainbow Children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So I still love the concerts. I took my mom to I think my first concert during the whichever one where he ended with NPG and the MF House, and to see my mother kind of like she was like 78 or 80 at the time. Like standing up, pumping her fist and saying NPG in the motherfucking house was kind of, it was weird, but fun.
Right. And they stopped cursing at that time, of course, during the New Power Soul era, and we were saying it was because of Larry Graham, that he's no more going to do curse.
Which I believe.
Yeah. Which was true for the most part.
Yeah.
Although he tried to get around it, whether it was saying get off 23 scriptures in a one night stand instead of 23 positions.
Are you a leader or a follower? I'm a leader. Well, then get off my stage.
Right.
I just remember that from one of the shows. Are you a leader or a follower? I'm a leader. Well, get off my stage because I need people who follow Christ.
Follow me.
Like, wait, what?
Right. That was a different Prince. That was a different Prince than what we used to from before.
Very different.
Did you see it?
Yeah, look, I love, and even though I challenged him in my interview in 2004, I understood his position. Like, if you change and you don't want to curse anymore, I respect that. I still am in, the same way he did with DMSR and found a way to make it palatable to people who didn't like the curse. I wish he had been able to do that with Erotic City and Head and Sister and other songs that I thought had a real energy that instead of finding a way to do it, he just took it out of his repertoire. And that was my challenge.
3121 Vegas, December 31st, 2006, right before midnight. He's doing 3121, but before the curtain comes up, he does the first lyrics of Erotic City. He just doesn't get to the chorus, but he did do a little bit of it. So
I'll take it. I didn't know that, but I'll take it.
It's I'm sure it's got to be out there in some way, shape, or form. But did you ever do the One Night Alone tour for Rainbow Children? Did you see any of those tour dates?
So this is where it gets a little murky. I got to admit, I'm sure that I did. Let's be clear. I never missed a Prince tour after. Some of the times is the last Prince tour or group of shows that I ever missed. Like I never missed a group of shows or a tour after that, whether I had to travel overseas or see them here. I just don't remember what year would that have been.
2002, because he was doing 2001 Hit and Run tour and then stopped that tour. There was his mother and father that passed away during that time, and then of course September 11th and all those things is the first tour after September 11th. It kicked off in April of 2002.
Okay, so 2002, I'm pretty sure I saw there was a show in Philadelphia that he did that I actually went to with my ex-wife. With my ex-wife, and it was the coolest thing because in college we had been huge Prince fans, and he was talking about how horrible videos were and how horrible music was at the time. And literally in the audience, he looks at me in the eye and like, "Should I talk about you? Should I talk about you?" And I'm like, "No, please don't. Not right now. Please don't." But I think that was that was 2002, Philadelphia in a relatively small spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then that tour, even though he fell off, had a lot of people against him. BT didn't when they were talking about me, you have Torre and a few other people talking about it wasn't in the most kindest sense, but he did fall off at that time. I'll admit it. But when I saw that One Night Alone tour at the Kodak in LA, whatever it's called now, Dolby Theater, where they had the Oscars.
Oh, I was there too. I was there for that one. I was there for that one. Yeah.
To me, and he did 2 shows there. I'm all like, this guy is so talented. Yep, you got that there. This guy is so talented that there is no way that he's going to be playing small theaters like this unless he wants to, even though he had so many strikes with the industry and all this stuff. And I felt 2004, you're going to have the 20th anniversary of Purple Rain. He's going to be eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He'll get in his first try. That he's going to have a huge 2004. And boy, did he ever. Now, this gets
so
to you.
I wish
everything.
Yeah, don't get me started on 2004.
Nope.
Don't get me.
We're there.
Are we going? Are we 2004?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Let's see. So I don't remember the order of things. You're going to have to remind me.
Okay.
But I believe the Grammys was the opening salvo.
Yes.
What was the first? Because I think the Grammys with Beyonce was the opening salvo of the 2004 resurrection.
Well,
True
yeah.
or no?
Yes, he did like Vegas shows Super Bowl weekend at the House of Blues over there. He was starting to get stuff ready for it. But yes, it was for these things. And then he did like a concert a week later in the Bay Area at the Fillmore. But yes, it was the Grammy show. It was starting for us a little bit in 2003. Fans were invited to the Musicology video shoot. But yes, 100%. That Grammy performance with Beyonce, that kicked off everything to another level.
So I was fortunate enough to be at the rehearsal. No, even before that. Oh, shoot, I don't remember the detail, but I know that I was there was a party in New York, and there was Prince, Jay, and B. And I remember Prince and B having just going up and having a conversation. And I was like, huh. Like, I understand this connection, like in terms of performance, stagecraft is everything. Mm-hmm. And this was it after? It may have been after a small Prince show in New York. That's what I think it was, but I'm not sure.
Was it Club Black?
I could be wrong. Which one? You said Club Black?
Yeah, was it Club Black?
Yeah, I don't remember. That sounds familiar.
That was after the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that he performed there at that club, and Will and Jada were having trouble.
Wait. So Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was before the Grammys?
No, it was after.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so this party was definitely before the Grammys. It was definitely before the Grammys, because I actually was wondering whether, like, if B and Prince knew each other. And as I saw them in different parts, I was like, oh, should I introduce? I was like, oh, should I introduce them? But it was clear they knew each other, and I remember them seeing in the corner, like, oh, that'd be cool. And then when I heard rumors about the Grammys, I was like, oh, that's cool. So I remember seeing them at the rehearsal. I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of fantastic. And the Grammys was what it was. And obviously musicology was set to roll at that point in time. Mm-hmm. Now you have to remind me, I believe 2004 was also Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, it was. Because you had the Grammys thing the week before. It was the freaking Super Bowl performance with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake and all that controversy. And then the first musical act a week later was Prince and Beyonce opening up the Grammys.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's right. Prince and Beyonce opening up the Grammys. And it was fun to watch. I just remember it was fun to watch them work it out and how they were going to work with each other. But it was clear that you were seeing two professionals in rehearsal, like really understand their marks and even things that looked like they were spontaneous. And, Levi Caesar, as I said this a number of times, like, Prince was a master at making the really well practiced look like it was spontaneous, right? And so that's what they did during that performance. And it is one of the best, to me, one of the best Grammy performances ever. I forgot that was the year of the Janet Jackson thing. And then I believe in March or April of that year, before Musicology, came the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, before the tour or whatnot, yes.
And if you're asking me, yes, I was lucky enough to be in the audience. Not only was I in the audience, I was literally in the front row. If you look at the video, you can kind of see me. You have to know what my back of my head looks like to get it. But like, and so you've seen what he did at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. To watch George Harrison's son, to watch Tom Petty, to watch everybody just watch Prince and what he did in that guitar solo was, it's a moment I'll never forget. I knew there's certain moments you know how special they are when they happen, and that was one of them. The induction of Prince, Prince started the show, performed. The induction of Prince, I love Outkast, but Alicia Keys had to save the induction because Outkast kind of was like riffing and going all over the place. And Alicia Keys was really focused on how great Prince was. And Prince, as he had done time after that, and as he did when we got to honor him in 2010 at BET, was talking about, young folks, I need you to set your own path, right? And it felt like it was, the precursor to the conversation that we had in Dallas about Jaquan's Tipsy. It's like, don't follow my path, set your own path. But that guitar solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, if you've never seen it, just go to YouTube. It's just one of the more masterful things ever in the history of ever. And that plus the Grammys setup. Okay, ready for this? Ready?
Yes.
Boom. Music. Wait. Okay. Is my shit too bright? Music. Wait. Hold on a second. Let me turn that down. There we go. That's much better.
Musicology.
There we go. Musicology tour. Musicology. Hold on. Where's that? I don't know. Where's that? Where'd I go see it there?
Joe Louis Arena, Detroit.
Joe Louis Arena, Detroit. Let's see. Where's this one? Where's that?
Continental Arena.
Continental Arena. All right. Where else did I go? Let's see. Where's this one? Where's this one? Where's this one? Let's see. This is it.
Where's the
MCI Center, Washington, D.C. MCI Center, Washington, D.C. Let's see. Where's this one? Oh, that's Joe Louis. Let's see. Where's this one? I don't even know what city that's in. I just know it's Wachovia Center. Oh, Wachovia. That must be. That must Wachovia. I think that's Philadelphia.
Continental Arena again.
I'm not saying I saw a lot of musicology, because what I don't have is my. Oh wait, where's this one? Where I don't even know where this is. Where's the Cox Arena? Anybody know where the Cox Arena is?
San Diego.
Oh, that's so this is the San Diego show. After I interviewed him and I said you have to play a door everywhere. So that was the San Diego show. Is this one where I know he saw me in the audience. He's like, and I heard a door.
He did that. He did like P.D. Pablo. He did just the music version of it. He didn't sing the lyrics to Freak a Leak, but he did instrumental to Freak a Leak on stage at the Cox Arena, San Diego. I was like, what? His entire outfit was glowing in the dark, but he did freaking Freak a Leak.
Yes.
You want to talk about
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just surprised they did Freak a Leak. Even though it was instrumental, I was just like, what? And maybe that's a sample of another song. I need to check into that, but it sure sounded like Freak a Leak to me. That's all I'm going to say.
Look, here's the thing. He sometimes he would play things to kind of make fun of the thing that was actually happening, right? I'm imagining he was not a Freak a Leak fan. He just liked making fun of Freak a Leak. Right? That was the thing. That was the thing he would do.
And my musicology.
Say about this. Say what was that?
I was gonna say my Musicology, my tour tickets, it's a little bit different. Than it's mostly just the West Coast shows. Vegas, he did LA 7 times. He did House of Blues 4 times. You know, we got super lucky on the West.
I think I have my House of Blues ticket is somewhere. I don't know where I put it though. But I will say the one thing Detroit had. So when he does the breakdown in just the acoustic guitar in the middle of the Musicology show, I remember he came out looking kind of he was at that point in time he was got a dress suit, kind of monochrome. In Detroit, because he understood what Detroit was for him, he came out like a ripped muscle shirt and came out and played. I'll never forget. He played Something in the Water. Huh. He played a guitar version of Something in the Water, and he played something else that was like you had to be an old school P fan to understand what that was, but he understood it was Detroit, so he knew he could do that. He knew he could do that. He could do that. Where's my? Because he did the House of Blues. I can't find my House of Blues tickets. I'm sorry about that. All right.
Oh, you'll find it. In the Detroit show, he made sure to wear a Tayshaun Prince jersey since the Pistons beat the Lakers that year. And I knew he was going to beat the Lakers. I knew they were going to beat the Lakers, but we'll get into that another point. He was pissed because his Wolves lost. But so here it is, Musicology. He sets stuff up that the next album, whenever he releases it, it's going to hit #1. Musicology hit in the second half of the tour. He didn't. That's something that Ruth one time can elaborate in the future what fell apart with that. Because I did hear rumors that there was going to be a Musicology Part 2. We never got that. But then you start getting these house parties.
Here we go.
And
Here's where we started.
That's where your love for Ruth really took off.
Always.
What's this one?
Did I skip the love? Did I skip the love sexies? I skipped the love sexies.
I didn't see that
one. I skipped
the
love sexies. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to skip love sexy. My bad. I didn't mean to skip love sexy. My bad.
Yep.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did I miss the? Did I show? I'm sorry. Did I miss the love sexy?
You did. At least was there because it wasn't me. I appreciate that you were there. How many times did you see that tour?
London, Hartford, DC,
Minneapolis,
Boston, 2 or 3 times. Minneapolis. Oh yeah, of course, Minneapolis.
There you
so
go.
6 or 7.
Wow.
My favorite tour of all time. Where is it? Wait a minute, hold on a second. I'm trying to find my.
On the next
I found it. He was lying here on the floor. Wait. Yep, there it is.
House of Blues, LA. Yep, that was after the Grammys that night.
Feb 2004. That's right.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot another artifact. There you go. Questions. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's all good, man.
I'm so happy. I never get to talk Prince to people who care about Prince. I only talk to Prince about people who I bore with Prince. So this is such a treat for me.
This is what it's about, and also
I got set lists late. As we get into it, I got set lists later. So
people have to follow on Instagram just for you to take photos of this tomorrow or after the show, and it'll be on. You'll gain a few more followers before your show on Thursday night for them to check out. I'll make sure to be in that too. So
yes, sir.
The house parties in LA that were happening.
All right. First of all, we need to know, Ruth, are you still on? Ruth, just let us know if you're still on the comments. Keep going. House parties in LA. What year are we talking about there right now?
2005, 2006.
2005, 2006. Keep going. Okay. I'm weak on the times, but I'm strong on the memories.
You'll get some of the invites, and that was before the 3121 Club or any of that other stuff was happening. It was the LA house parties that was eventually turning into 3121. So,
hi Ruth, love you. Yes, indeed. Sorry, keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah, the house parties in LA. Tell me some of the experiences that you had there, aside from you being on the microphone, him just going, Steven.
Okay, so I don't remember all of them, and I can't line up when what happened.
You have Ruth and myself.
But there was
here.
one house party that I remember where it was me, Gabrielle Union, Taraji, and some other people, and he brought Taraji on stage to sing, and I wish I could remember. Hey, hey, I feel all right. Come on, and it was just no. Taraji is just a wonderful person, and so it was awesome to see her as excited as all the rest of us were to be like in the Prince environment and doing that thing. And so her singing along was hilarious. I don't know when that was. Ruth, I'm looking to you to help me, Ruth. Because I don't want to get into that part yet. Let's see. And that was all before the ones where it was over the pool.
That was
2005. So I'm definitely sure that Grammys 2006 was he was at 3120 when it was off of Sunset. This is when his 3121 parties were off of Sunset. Ruth, correct me if I say anything wrong. And Tamar was there, and Tamar was, so he'd come on and sing, and then Tamar would take a lead, and then they started playing boom, 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 boom. Hey, do it, come on. And they get into that jam. And Prince is on stage right playing the guitar. Boozer's Heart. Yes, it was Boozer's Heart. Ruth. It was Boozer's Heart. It was Boozer's Heart. Boozer's house. Boozer was an NBA player. I think he is an NBA player. I don't know. I only knew it was Prince's house. And so so it's a living room. It's all even. They start play that funky music and said, okay. And Tamar goes, okay, who wants to sing? Who wants to sing? And nobody raised their hand. And so I'm literally right there in front because, well, it's in this living room and I can be, and I'm a Prince fan. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I put my hand up. And Tamar says, come on up. And at this point in time, I don't think I met Tamar before. So that may be the first time we had met. So we didn't know each other. And she brings me up and, she says, okay, what's your name? And as I'm about to say my name, Prince, who's on stage right from me, stage right, says, Stephen Hill. Oh, this should be fun. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a problem. And so, they've done this with other people before. And so she goes, Carlos Boozer. Thank you, Nina. Carlos Boozer was his name. Joel, there. And she says, okay, you know the song? You know the lyrics of the song? I'm like, yes, I know the lyrics of the song. Okay, you ready? And they could, hey, first I was a groovy singer playing in a rock and roll band. And I sing the whole first verse. And I look and like, Chris is just cracking up. And so you get to the chorus, play that funky music, white boy. Lay down the boogie and play that funky music till you die. Till you die. And I will never remember this because it's one of my favorite moments of my entire life. I look to my right, till you die. I said, Prince, why don't you play one of those funky guitar solos for me right now? He looks at me like I'm crazy. Like, did you just tell me to play a guitar solo? And I'll never forget, he stamps on the pedal and plays one of the nastiest solos I've ever heard in my entire life over those 8/16 bars, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I literally watch him do it. And then before the second verse, I step off the stage because I'm like, it's never going to get better than this. No matter what I do, I'm not singing the second verse because I can only bring it down from here. And so I literally watched him do that. And I was like, and stepped off the stage. So, and I think Tamar sang the rest of the verse. And so I just watched the rest of the show. And then I walk outside towards the end because you can still see it from the inside, from the outside. I'm sitting with a bunch of people Jeremiah, you ever had you ever had like an ex who broke up with you? And then the next time you see them, you want to be looking your best. So your ex goes, damn, Jeremiah, you look good. Right? So I say that because what happened, I walked outside and I was sitting with a bunch of people who I work with. Well, as the show was ending, the show ended. I went outside, people I work with. Prince walks out and says, yo, Steve, that was dope. We're ready to take you on the road with us. You ready to come on the road with me? While I'm sitting with a bunch of people I work with, I'm like, yeah, just tell me how to be there. I'll be there. But it's like having your ex-girl go like, damn, you look really good. I'm sorry I left you. Like, because, here's people I work with. And so you want to have that kind of energy like, oh, that person really, that was worked out. So anyhow, blah, blah, blah. That was my story of my 3121 singing. The first time I sang Play That Funky Music with him.
First time. I think you also did it.
Second time was New York. I think the second time was New York. I think it was Butter. And I was right beside the stage. And at that point in time, since he'd seen what I had done, he literally he literally, as they started playing, he just flipped the mic to me like this. He's just like,
there you go.
There you go. You know what to do. But
yeah. I was at that party that.
But I have to say, look. I have to say, and then I'll shut up. I can't express how exciting it is. Look, I never lost the awe. I never lost the wow of Prince. Even after we became friendly, and he would make fun. His way of making fun of me was to have me do stuff like that. Right? That was his way of making fun of me. But it was never mean-spirited, and I never lost the awe and wow of him. Even when I got to sing on stage with him and stuff. It's like amazing in my life. Like it's amazing in my life. And so I just hope that everybody here gets to experience something like that you really truly, from someone you really truly love and enjoy, and get to enjoy and have that experience as well.
That was awesome. The house parties were fun. I love how you say you got off stage when actually the stage wasn't high. It was just floor level. So if you were someone short,
it was floor level. It was floor. You just walk on the other side of the monitors. That's it.
Right. Did you play pool with anyone interesting?
I don't remember that. No, did I?
I'm just asking because I would see, like I said, Chris Rock with Wendy and Ludacris would be around and other stuff. Those parties were just insane. And Ruth mastered the invites for sure on that.
Ruth, I want to thank Ruth for almost always letting me into the parties. Almost always letting me in. No. Actually, the truth is, he would always let me in, but sometimes I have to wait. There was one time. Never mind. There was just one time. There was just a lot going on at the time. I know who he is. Just tell his ass to wait. She didn't know I could hear it. I could hear it on the other side of the walkie-talkie. I'm like, okay, I got no problem waiting. I'll be right here. I got no problem waiting because I know what's on the other side. I will wait an hour. I'm good with that. And that's the key. Don't get an attitude and walk away. Just wait the hour.
Yeah.
Whatever.
A little flip phone waiting for, okay, come. You just be waiting.
Wait. Okay. Well, okay. I'm reading what Ruth said. Well, we talked about you after. Did you see Steven almost slip on his sweat? I had to give you. Do you see it? Are you pinning it?
Yes.
Look, Ruth knows this. I appreciate Ruth. I appreciate Prince because they never made me feel bad for being a true fan. I could be an executive one moment, but there's surprisingly few people, I think, in the music business, especially in the business part, who are comfortable showing how much of a supporter and a fan they are. And Prince never made me feel bad or weird about being, you know, a supporter of his work and stuff. So thank you, Ruth, and thank you, Prince.
For real. Like, I was about to hit the 100 mark of shows I attended, and because of Ruth, it hit the 200 mark very easily. If it wasn't for her, a majority of shows I went to, and my path, it doesn't happen without Ruth's involvement in 2006 and meeting up with her after the Roxy show. And then I dressed down that night at the Roxy show because I was dating a girl at the time that was kind of pissed that I had a ticket through her friend and not understanding what was happening, but I knew what was about to happen. So she wasn't too happy about it. So I know if I dressed really good, I would have gotten crap like, oh, you're. So I dressed down, and of course, Ruth, like, she saw the outfit, like, oh, I can't invite you to the house party wearing that. I was going to invite you to the house tonight. Can't invite you wearing that. I was wearing like a gray sweater and black pants. Then I always would dress up to the nines for Prince stuff, except for that party. So for a while, when Ruth was inviting me to the first few house parties, there was always this message from Ruth that said, "You're invited. Please dress nice." I'm like, Ruth, I know how to dress. It was just, but after the fifth time, I think she got it that I knew how to dress. But I just was always embarrassed for that. Having someone like play into that, knowing that they would be upset at me if I dressed nice, that would have been a problem. But Ruth was like, make sure you dress on time. Ruth, I got it. You don't need to tell me anymore. Trust me that thing, I burned the sweater. No more.
There you know. Or as he famously once said, some of my best friends wear blue jeans. I'm just not ever seen with them.
Right. What's funny is that a show in 2012, after he did Kimmel at the Sayers Club, he wore like a ratty gray sweater, and Andy Allo was giving him crap over it, telling him they look like something from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood that Mr. Rogers would wear.
I love it.
I'm not even
love it.
Whole experience. But yes.
Look, I know we're not doing it, but I still miss, to this day, I still miss the anticipation of seeing. I know. I still miss the anticipation of a Prince show. Right? There was never a time from January of '82 to February of '16 where when I knew I was going to see a Prince show. It was like waking up the day of the show, and it was Christmas. Right? I never took it for granted. It never became humdrum. It was always an exciting anticipation, and I don't have that for anything else. There's nothing else that's replaced that since then. The anticipation of knowing you're going to see Prince in a week, in 2 days, in a day, that night. So I wanted to say that, and I really want to thank Ruth for facilitating that, forum, London.
Right.
There's so many good stories.
Ruth has so many, and it's funny to me because she would be running around at those things. It's like she didn't even get a chance to really enjoy like everything that she did. Maybe looking at Afshin's photos and whatnot, which I find funny. Like, I asked you for a headshot. What headshot do you want to use for the show? And then Steven just goes, this one. The one right above it. Hilarious. Like, this is the shot we can use to promote the show that I'll be on. All right, cool.
So let me tell the story of this shot. And I've told it before, and I've seen this given. So the story of this shot is that this is the Roosevelt Hotel. Oh wait a minute. Do I have artifact? Hold on. Wait a minute. I think I have artifact. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Oh, what is that? The set list? Is that a set list from the Roosevelt overnight Brewtown?
It looks like it.
It does indeed. So going to the show, and of course have cool. It's in the book. London is in the book. But this Roosevelt Hotel. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to tell me what year is that? 2007, 2008. Is that right?
And for the Roosevelt shows, yes.
Okay, so we're there. I must have been there. I think I was there. It was right before the BET Awards. He was not part of the BET Awards. He was part of the BET Awards in 2006, but not in 2007. He's just doing shows. Me. Oh my God, I can't tell that story. Anyhow, me and Sean Puffy Combs are going to the show, and we're there. I think Nas is there as well, and so it's the coolest thing. And then he comes out in the audience and plays the bass, and so I'm jamming, and he sees me, and he literally says like, "Oh, you're gonna get some of this bass in your face," and he starts playing, which is this picture right here, which is the picture that Dr. Funkenberry used to get you to this thing. And he starts playing the bass and playing the bass and playing the bass. And so the picture that you've seen that picture of him playing the bass and me all into it. And then the picture I don't usually show is this one afterwards, where he just put the bass in my hands. He just puts it in my hands and then walks away. But while he's playing it, I see a flash. And then when he puts the bass in my hand, I see a flash. And so I literally register like there's a picture of this somewhere. Like someone's taking a picture. And so literally after he goes back to the stage, I look around. And this is my first time I don't know Afshin. But I see he's the one with the camera, and I see he's the one that's allowed. I'm like, hi, and I introduce myself and I say, look, if there's any way you can ever send me that picture, please do. Here's my information. I'll never share it anywhere else. I won't. Blah, 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 blah. And Afshin's like the coolest guy ever. The capital T, coolest capital C, guy capital G. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do it. Yeah. I said, well, I know, and at least I know it exists. Can I get your name? And he gives me his information. And I hit him later, and like a week or 2 weeks later, I know that picture exists. I promise I will never post it. And so, like a month goes by, and he sends me the picture. He sends me these 2 pictures and says, we had bonded over something. I won't go into it. We had bonded over something. And he said, I'm sending these. I'm trusting that you'll never post them. And I'm like, I promise you I will never post them. Right. And so I have these pictures. I'm as happy as I can be. Literally 6 months later, he hits me and goes, I don't know how this happened, but somehow Prince called me today and said, you can go ahead and send those pictures to Stephen. Like out of the blue, he just goes, there's pictures you have with Stephen. You can go ahead and send them to him. He said, like, so you have them now, but I still never, I did not post these pictures until after April 21st, 2016. But they are some of my most treasured things I have. Like the fact that I have a picture with my idol. I mean, and also shout out to Sanaa Hamri, who directed the interview that I did, who allowed me to be in a 2-shot.
Serious.
Yes, right. No, I understand that. Okay, I wasn't going to put you out there, Ruth. Yes. There. Salam, who put me in a 2-shot. So I have a picture of Prince laughing at something that I said that I post every once in a while. So again, I do not underestimate or undercredit the awesomeness of being able to do stuff with my phone, with one of my heroes.
Completely awesome. Now, before we get into the 2010 tribute, BET tribute, what do you remember from?
Please find that. Wait, Ruth. Please find that email. Please find that email. Please find that email, Ruth. Please find it. Please.
There you go. Now, the 31-21 performance at the BET Awards previously, and then did an after show at the Beverly Hills Hotel. What do you remember from the 31-21 performance? And he did win, I think, for Best Male for Black Sweat that year as well.
Wait, Black Sweat, yeah. So Black Sweat, 2006, right? Yes. I have the artifact. Okay. So we got him to do Black Sweat. It was the first time we got him on the BET Awards. I could not have been happier. He did Black Sweat, but I will gladly say even more memorably, he did probably it's easily in my top three. They vary, but my top three BT moments of all time. He was in the tribute to Shaka Khan, which included Yolanda Adams, India Ari, Stevie Wonder, and Prince. Right, and so. What can I say? Okay, so there's a place called what is it? It's called Center Staging. Is it called out in Burbank where the rehearsals were? We have rehearsals out there. The irony, of course, is that Mike Scott and who else was in Prince's band that ended up in Justin Timberlake's band?
Mike Scott and then John Blackwell afterwards.
Wait. Okay, and I have to read Ruth. I have a few about you. There's one where he says, "Ask Stephen Hill to do this. It's about time he paid for coming to the parties for free." And did I pay? The answer is yes. So there are people who will say, like, who will tell you that, like, I had no problem paying. I had no problem paying for Prince shows. If they said pay for a Prince show, I will, because Ruth was very kind enough to get me in so many times. And so Vegas, as a matter of fact, for the Vegas shows, I bought 11 tickets. 11 tickets for the Prince show. That's when my mom danced on stage, but we'll get to that later. 2006 BET Awards. By the way, keep putting up stuff from Ruth because I love answering those. 2006 awards. Gladly got him on the show. We did out of Center Staging in Burbank. We were rehearsing it, and when he heard how the music director had it set up, it was awesome watching Prince direct a band. Right? He came in and he was like, he could not have been more kind, or like everybody's in awe of Prince, and there's all these musicians. He's about to go to each one and say, how about if we try to play it this way? And he could not have been less dictatorial. He could not have been more group work together, putting together that tribute for Shaka Khan, and that's why it came off so well. It's because Prince truly got involved in everything, in the way in the way the music flowed. I can't say enough about that year. That was just so much fun, and I have a rehearsal tape of him where he's doing Black Sweat, and he goes, "All right, this guitar solo is for Steven," and he goes into a guitar solo during Black Sweat. I never stopped getting thrilled. I never stopped getting thrilled by that ish. So
that was awesome.
So yes, he won for 2006, and then the after party was at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And again, Sean and I went. Mr. Combs and I went together. No, he got there before I did. I got there kind of late because I was closing up stuff at the venue, and then Puff gave me a cymbal tambourine, which is back in that room, which I still have to this day.
He didn't take it, right? Because at the 31-21.
No, they were throwing them out. He was throwing them out. Puff got one, and then he knew how much I loved him, so he gave it to me.
Okay. There's another story from a 31-21 Beverly Hills, the after party for the BET Awards. Won't say anything about that, but a tambourine ended up missing that one of the twins was using. So not going to say it may have been Puffy, it may have been someone else who took it while they put it down on stage. Just saying.
No. Is the rumor that Puff took it?
Maybe if it's Puffy, it's Puffy, right? You can get with it. If it's Sean, it's Sean. He can get away with it, right? I remember other things from that.
I feel bad. Literally, that was a bonding moment. That was a bonding moment because he knew how much. I was like, so I hope that wasn't. I hope it wasn't
31-21.
I feel bad now.
You're describing a cymbal tambourine. It was a 31-21 tambourine. That's for another show.
No, I think it was a cymbal one. I think it was.
It's all good.
Look.
Yeah, no problem. Were you at the Beverly Hills Hotel show, or were you just so?
No, that's where I was. No,
okay.
I got there late, but I was at the Beverly Hills show. I had a hard time getting in, but finally got in.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, can you take over for a minute? I'll be right back.
That's all good. Go for it, my man.
All right, be right back.
Yep. There was 50 of us at that after show that Ruth put together. There was a little bit of trouble going on. Yeah. See, even Ruth knows what's up. There was so much more stolen at the after parties. Tamarine's the least of them. That sucks that people stole from the party, from the house and the parties. That sucks. Beverly's Hotel show was like half a Tamar show and then half a Prince show, which was cool. And I know Ruth, there was some sort of trouble with Beverly Hills management of having fans in, that it wasn't just going to be celebrities in, that they weren't exactly cool with that, if I remember. But especially with tickets being sold through the Music Club or whatnot. And Ruth would be like, why the hell are you paying for a ticket? I got you on the list. I'll be doing it. Like, don't worry. Like, if I can pay, I'll pay, but Ruth always took care of me for stuff like that. So I was very appreciative of those experiences I got to have, even though I would leave work, go to my computer at home, because we didn't have like good internet on your phones at the time to do stuff like that. But she would take care of me, and she's like, why the hell did you buy a ticket? But be the same thing for the Empire Ballroom shows. Oh, I hear Tambourine's coming in, and maybe we'll get an outfit change as well. Yeah. Interesting what people are asking for Ruth regarding a podcast. I like that idea. So, Patty's Shoe, we're going to definitely get into that with that show. Yes. But so many shows. Then we're going to get into the BET tribute of 2010, where Eric was just talking about Patty's Shoe and Prince catching it and other things that were going on. Of course, I got to see if Steven went to any of the O2 shows, which I'm not so certain that he was at. But when he comes back on, I'll ask him for it. Hope you guys have been enjoying this. I didn't plan on a 3-hour show, but I'll take it when I get it, since we're not doing these every single week. Outfit change in the house with tambourines and tamaracas.
So, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, was a 3121 tambourine that was stolen?
It was. But Ruth said, don't worry about it. There's so much more other stuff that was stolen. So don't even worry about it. 3121. Great era.
Oh, hi. All right. Sorry about that.
No.
Sorry about that. All right. So where we at?
Well, people commenting on your.
Oh, was that a wardrobe change? Was that a wardrobe change? Really? I didn't notice that. Really? Was there a sample? Oh, shoot. Who knew? I didn't know. That's crazy. I didn't see it.
No. So
shout out to Puff.
Did you catch any of the shows at the O2 Arena when he was performing over there overseas, or no?
Did I catch any of the shows at the O2 Arena?
I guess
Hold
that's
on.
It's gonna be a bam.
All right, Ruth, stay with me on this. So the answer to that is yes. What? Is that the set list from the very last show at the O2 Arena? Oh, I believe it is. Awesome. I believe it's the set list from the last show. All right, guys, listen. People, I'm sorry, not guys, people. Okay, see where it says Sexy Dancer Le Freak? See where it says Sexy Dancer Le Freak right there? Sexy Dancer Le Freak. I'm gonna come back to that.
You're gonna come back?
I'm coming to that. See, this would be the after party of the O2. So I candidly forget how many. So the O2 was 21 nights, right? And so I saw a few of the first nights. One of the first nights, there were a few of my buddies and I were on vacation. And we literally flew from Spain to London just to see one of the Prince shows. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you very much. One of those people may or may not have been the person who got me the tambourine. And so that was one of the first 21 shows. One of the last ones, if I'm not mistaken, the last one was the 21st, September 21st, 2007. I think that may have been the last. I'm pretty sure I went to the last one. I think that may have been it. But two things. One, and I've written about this. If you get my time change email, you've read about this. I'll give you the short version of the story. Is that it was right about the time Ti Amo Corazon came out, and me and my friend Ashley, who I believe is on here. I think I saw his name come through before. Ashley, yeah, you're there. It was the last one. Thank you. Ashley, who I met at my brother's 30th birthday party, and we realized we were Prince fanatics, and so we've been joined to the hip and had great Prince experiences since then, but never more than this one. And Loopers, I'm sorry, you've heard this story before. I'm still going to tell it. I'm going to tell it short version. So after the show, we're backstage hanging out. Ti Amo Corazon had just been produced but not released. He's like, "Hey, come back. I want to show you this video. Can you come back?" So me and my friend Ashley, my homie Ashley, he and I go back to Prince's dressing room, his inner sanctum, to watch Ti Amo Corazon, which is a fantastic, wonderful video. Salma Hayek, I believe, directed it. I could be wrong.
Correct.
But I think that she did. Yeah, right. She did. So beautiful video, and it's a video we eventually, I'd like to point out, played on BET. And so after the video, so while we're watching the video, and he's on the computer, and I believe he was on Prince.org. If I remember correctly, Ashley in the comments can tell you more, but I think he was on Prince.org while we're watching the video because he was very much into the computer at that point in time. And so the video ends. We talk about the video. That's great. And then he's watching a video of the show that just ended. Like he's literally watching a video of the show he just did, which I understand was the thing he did, so he could see what he did and do. And he always was trying to improve his show, right? And so he gets to the point. There's a point where that sexy dancer. Wait, I just threw it away. Where did I put it? Sexy dancer. Oh yeah, sexy dancer. The Freak, right? And so if you know Sexy Dancer, they basically did the words of the Freak it was a mashup of Sexy Dancer and La Freak. They did the words of La Freak to Sexy Dancer. Mm-hmm. And so what did Ruth just say? I missed it. What did Ruth say?
Somewhere Here on Earth video.
Somewhere Here on Earth. Oh, sorry about that. That was the one? Really? Okay.
Not around that time.
Oh, because that was the album with Chelsea Rogers.
Prague.
And so my friend Ashley goes like, "Oh, I love that mashup. But I really love the piano solo in Sexy Dancer, and I missed that." I swear to God, if there weren't two of us that were there for this, because we've had to check each other like this really happened over the years. He said, I really miss that piano solo because I love the piano solo. And Prince said, "You mean like this?" And he went to the piano that was in his dressing room and he bangs out the piano solo to Sexy Dancer. And he bangs it out like nothing's happened. And Ashley and I are sitting there going like, it's just me, Ashley, and Prince. And Prince is acting like he's on stage. And when he finishes doing, "You like that?" And then he goes back to the computer. And Ashley and I are like, what the just happened?
Hilarious. So
that is probably, of all the moments, that's probably like that's probably the coolest. That like him in his room, Ashley asking, "I missed that." So not asking, he just said, "I missed that solo. I really like that solo." Just like, say that. And he said, "Oh, you mean like this?" And then he bangs it out.
Pretty incredible.
Tell him, Ashley, he ripped it. So anyhow, it was an incredible moment.
I'm seeing someone in the comments. They asked, did he play? They believe that they did 1,000 hugs and kisses in London at the show you were at. Do you remember that?
Ooh, I do not remember. I tell you the truth, I do not remember that. And it's not saying anything, but it's not on the set list as I see it. It's not on this.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not saying he didn't do it on the last one.
Right.
Because, set list was as I like saying, it was a guideline, not a rule.
Right. Sometimes you got the set list, there'd be like, wait, he didn't do this song. Oh man, that would have been cool.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Because sometimes you get a set list ahead of time and have me like post like one of the forum shows. And there's some stuff they didn't do that we're like, he was supposed to do Dark that night. Nope. We had to wait a few more years to hear Dark.
Oh!
I was at the forum run. Yeah, we're supposed to get Dark. But he did more than this that night.
No.
The Roxy Music.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay. I know we're jumping on.
It's okay.
Dr. Funkenberry, I like being linear as well. But City Winery in New York, was anybody listening to this at City Winery in New York? Oh, I wish I could remember the year. It was after an MTV award. It was the night of an MTV award.
2013.
You said 2013?
Yep.
Were you there?
I was not
You
there.
were there?
I used to be there, but I was not there.
So I've always loved Dark. Just always loved it. I never heard it live. He did Dark live that night. He had I forget how many horns he had on stage that night, but he had a massive amount of horns on stage that night and did Dark. And I lost my freaking mind. I'm like, oh, got it. You shouldn't ever do this song without horns. And since you have like literally 7 or 8 horns on stage, it
was a lot.
He just laid in the dark. That was one of those shows that began at like 2 and ended literally when the sun came up.
Mm-hmm.
Luke James was on that stage that night. I don't know if you know this, but and we can talk about this when we get to the Prince tribute on BET. But one of the reasons that Prince did falsetto so often in his early years is because he believes the female voice is much more expressive than the male voice. Like, he doesn't really like many male vocalists. You can count them on one hand. I don't want to name them. I'm going to name one because that person was on stage that night at the City Winery. And I had to tell him, I was like, dude, you were on stage with Prince. He's like, oh yeah. He called me up and said he liked my voice. He wanted me to come on. I'm like, do you realize he does not like male voices at all? Like, all he likes is female voices. Right. He was falsetto his first 3 albums because he was trying to imitate a female voice because it's more expressive. You never heard his unfalsetto voice for a whole song, like for a long period of time until after controversy, after controversy, right? And so, and that person is Luke James. Prince liked Luke James's voice, and Luke James was the only person besides Stevie Wonder of a male vocalist that I ever saw him on stage with more than once. And so, all right, I've already gone to 2013. Let's go back, Leah. I'm sorry. I get too excited about this stuff. I get to talk. I get to be a geek Prince. I get to be a Prince geek.
Hilarious. I had Luke James on the week leading up to that City Winery show. I had Luke James on with Liv Warfield. And the women were going crazy because Luke James did the interview without a shirt on. So they were loving it. They were like,
dude, Luke James. And we eventually cast Luke James in the New Edition story on BET.
Yeah. Great cast on that one. Now, and of course, he did Dark at the Sayers Club a few months after doing City Winery in 2013.
So dark.
He had horn players on each side of the aisles. No, it's okay. He had horn players on each side of the aisles at Sayers Club. And he just goes, Prince and the TMP. He was like Prince and the Too Many People. That's what he was calling him with that horn section.
What?
He called him Prince and the TMP.
Hilarious.
It's too many people. But yes. All right. So BET Awards, the tribute in 2010 with the photo behind you of the shoe. Tell that story. And what wasn't Prince supposed to perform at that? Is that something I heard going into that weekend?
I will. So
One-
this
your
is the story that I will tell that I've never. This is the story that I will tell that I've never told before.
Mhm.
It's gonna take a minute. Hold on. I just want to make sure that. Appreciate that. Somebody had a question or. Yes, no, John Diaz. Yes, the sun was coming up, and there were like 20 of us left in the audience at the City Winery show. Anyhow, so I thoroughly believe that Prince allowed us to celebrate him because Michael Jackson had died the year before. Full stop. Because Prince didn't show up for many things. He showed up for an NAACP Image Award one year, and I think one other thing. But people always try to get Prince to do something, and he wouldn't. And so, and I'd reached out to him. I'd reached out to him, and other people on our team had reached out to him before, and he just always said no. But I think, and I think Tavis Smiley or Van Jones has talked to this before about the conversations they had with Prince when Michael Jackson died. And I want to be clear that that forget what you heard. I was fortunate enough at some point in time to have conversations with Prince and Michael Jackson. One of them was at one of those Butter shows. Oh, it was at the Butter show after he did. I don't know if it was this one. It's another artifact alert. Here we go. Let me see. When Prince did SNL. When Prince did SNL in 2006. Yeah, I think it was. There was an after party at, I think it was at Butter. And we were talking about different music and how we liked it and how it made us feel good. And he said, "You know why I liked watching Michael Jackson so much when he was young? Because he smiled when he sang. Like he just made you feel good." He said he smiled when he sang, and you just loved that. And I thought back to my first Prince concerts, and remember, Prince didn't smile much on it. On then there was no video. There was just like magazines and album covers, and so, he's brooding on For You. He's on a Horace and Distant and looking at you like this on the back cover for Prince. There's no smile on Dirty Mind. Controversy, he looks at you straight like this. And so none of his visuals ever showed you any joy. But when you went to see him in concert, even as early as the Controversy tour, he's bringing you in with like smiling and enjoying and bringing in. I think Dirty Mind, not so much, but Controversy is when he really started smiling and opening up. And so when you mentioned that because I remember thinking about it at the time, like, oh, he's going to be an engaging performer the first time I saw him. And so when he said that in 2006, it made me think back, oh, it's clear that influenced how Prince performed. And so all that to say, you can talk about there may be professional, like I hope I get I want to be better or I want to have more awards, but like there was clearly mutual respect between I think Michael and Prince, and definitely Prince to Michael. So they saw themselves as contemporaries. So when Michael passes away in 2009, Prince is like, I think, and I could be wrong, I'm like, maybe this is the time. Maybe this is the time that it's okay to get some flowers. And I will say this because other people have said it to me. He was comfortable with BET. Somebody who didn't know this said this to me, and it's one of the best compliments I ever got. They were in a meeting with Prince, with Universal Music about some other stuff, and then I was in a meeting with like, oh, you're Stephen Hill. I was in a meeting with Prince once, and he talked about you and said he trusts you with his presentation. I was like, wow, that's really. I'm honored with that, and look, the 2010 BT Awards, and I'll stop rambling. I'm sorry for rambling. The 2010 BT Awards was one of my high water marks because I got to, the year before, posthumously, I got to be part of a team that led the tribute to one of my heroes, Michael Jackson. July 17th, 1971 was my first Jackson 5 concert. I saw them multiple times after that. Like, I was a Jackson 5. Like, we never had there were never black kids like us who were doing what they did. So we put all of our weight behind them. So I'm always a Jackson 5 fan before I'm a Michael Jackson fan. But when Michael Jackson passed, we got to do what we did for the BT Awards in 2009. 2010 comes up and Prince is going to allow us to celebrate him. I'll never forget, with the team, I was like, okay, the first rule was it can only be female performers. And everybody was like, no, they'll be great. This person and this person. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, we can only have female performers because he really appreciates only the female voice. And so, right? And I knew people so he and I had a conversation. Oh my God. Okay. Am I rambling? Can I keep going?
No, just make sure to mention Trey Songz.
No. Okay. First of all, number one.
That wasn't part of the
Okay. So this is such a beautiful story. I want to get that out of the way. Trey Songz doing part of Purple Rain was not part of the tribute. He wasn't supposed to do it. We asked him not to do it. He went and did it anyhow. I love Trey. Trey's an extremely talented person. And that song that sounded a little bit like Purple Rain was one of my favorite songs. So I want to be very, very clear. But we had a very, very specific tribute to Prince that year. And he put himself in it. And there was a communication mix up. So that was not part of the plan. I want to be clear that he was not part of the planned mix. That was a choice that he made on his own because that song was a tribute to Purple Rain that he did. But I want to be clear, Trey Songz is that dude, and I got all the love in the world for Trey.
All right.
That said, the designed tribute.
Mm-hmm.
Was Alicia Keys, who we knew had a Prince sign off. I knew had a Prince sign off because part of the 3121 shows was one of them, Alicia Keys, and he would not sing. He would just play the piano along with Alicia as they did How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore. So I knew there was a bond there between he and Alicia. There was and so Alicia Keys did Adore. There was a bond between Prince and Esperanza Spalding because he and I had a conversation about Esperanza Spalding, and he loved Esperanza Spalding's live show. I'll never forget the conversation. He was like, I use this term to the day. I use the term he used to this day. He was like, and she came on and she did her thing with that bass and everything else, and then she looks out to the audience, and then she turns off. She had a light on stage. She had a lamp on stage. She pulled the string on the lamp on stage, and then walks off stage. That was just disrespectful. I remember that was disrespectful, which means it was really good and really engaging, right? So we knew Esperanza Spalding. I knew Esperanza Spalding and Prince had a connection. Janelle Monáe. I had a conversation with Prince about Janelle Monáe before Janelle Monáe and Prince met, because there used to be this thing called I think it was called in New York, NY Live or R&B Live in New York, shows that happened every Monday or Tuesday night, and the new people in R&B would get up on stage and hawk their wares, and like everybody from the industry would come down there. Shout out to Shanti Das. In case you know Shanti, who helped put that together, every Monday and Tuesday. And so there was cool people who came through, and Janelle Monáe came, and I'd never heard her before. And it was transformative. she put on a show that had everybody in the industry on their feet. And this is one of those things, like, everybody's jaded. So Janelle puts on her show, and she's got the black and white on, and she's got the suit on, and she's got the pompadour, and she is doing her moves and killing it. And everybody is bananas. I'm like, oh my God. We with the very next show we at BT had, we put her on. I think it was a Rip the Runway show. But anyhow, just love Janelle. That was a moment. At some point in time, I hung out with Prince sometime after that, and I was like, have you heard of Janelle Monáe? And he was like, I remember he said, yeah, she's great. I just wish she'd sing more jazz. At the time, I didn't get it, and I found out before she had sung jazz before. But anyhow, I knew that he liked Janelle Monáe, so Janelle Monáe was part of the tribute. And so we have Janelle, Esperanza, Alicia, and then of course, well, he'd written songs and worked with Patti LaBelle before, so we knew what that was like. Shout out! Oh wait, I'm sorry. Shout out to the shoe. That's Patti LaBelle's shoe, by the way, in that one. So putting this together, but we wanted to have a male. It's like, what male is going to work? And then I go back to my interview. This is in 2010, right? So I go back to my interview in 2004, and I'll never forget seeing this because I thought it was the strangest thing in the world. After our interview, there was a little get-together. We interviewed, that was at Webster Hall in New York City. And there's a little thing in the side room, and Stevie Wonder's there. And I look, and I watch. Prince jumped on Stevie Wonder's back, like for a piggyback ride. What? And I'm like, this is hilarious. And so I realized they had a bond. And subsequently after that, I saw, like, Prince came to New York and played on Superstition when Stevie Wonder had a show in New York. So I understood that was the case. So if you go back and look at the tribute, Stevie Wonder is the person who runs the package. And he, we started out as like, Prince was born in Minneapolis. And then Steve goes, I'm not talking about that. And he just talks from the heart about what he thinks Prince is. And then, I forget the order, but it was Esperanza doing If I Were Your Girlfriend, a song she didn't want to do, but we were like, I know this will work if you do it. It did work, and then she put it on her show after that. Janelle doing, I believe it was Let's Go Crazy. Yep. Alicia doing Adore, and then Patti doing Purple Rain. Mm-hmm. And so I heard from a number of people after that really... Remember I talked about Graffiti Bridge, and it didn't go well, and he didn't perform?
Right.
So that tribute happened. He actually literally said my name on stage. My knees literally, but like we were cool. Obviously, we were cool by this time. But the fact that he said my name in front of a bunch of people in the audience, like, my knees buckled, and I'm like, I am that guy with all of my friends in the second row in 1983 at the Providence Civic Center. And after that, we all went to the Soho House, and he put on a blistering after show for like 50 people. And that's how I knew that, like, he was really feeling it. Like, he was in the moment, in that he enjoyed the tribute, and put on an awesome, awesome after show. And so few things have made me happier than, I wish it hadn't been posthumously, but being able to possibly be part of the people who put together the show for Michael Jackson, and then being able to give Prince his flowers while he was here, and knowing that he enjoyed the thought that went into it. Mm-hmm. There's few things that are better than that. There's few things that are better than that too.
Pretty awesome. As we're past the 3 hour mark,
really? Seriously?
Can I ask you on the spot? Can we do a part 2 with you? Because there's other stuff that we need to cover, and I don't want, like,
100%. Are you?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I get to geek out on Prince, and people aren't turning out or turning off.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No, I feel.
Wait, did I get to? I didn't even get to. Hold on. Wait a minute. I didn't get to the Michael Jordan party from 2015, the set list.
That's why I'm going to have you back. And we got to talk about the other UT tribute after he passed, and our little conversation that we had from a service about Madonna's performance. But yes.
Oh my God. Okay, you want to do that later. You don't want to do that now. You want to do that later. You want to do that later.
I'm going to do a second show with you, please, because
cool.
I want you to.
Can we take a couple questions right now before we go out? Can we take a couple questions from the audience before we go out?
Absolutely.
All right. I'll stop moving forward because that Billboard Awards. I had a friend.
We had to talk,
and that ended my relationship with a friend over that, and it's somebody I really, really liked, and I'll explain that. And I won't go into detail, but what I said was not about Madonna; it was about the tribute, right? And people took it I was taking a shot at Madonna, and I was not taking a shot at Madonna, and I'll explain that on the next section. But first, let's go to questions. You want to pin them, and I'll ask them, and I'll answer them.
Let's see if it's already people are like, they can't wait to get you on again. I just know that some people are fading. They probably weren't expecting a 3-hour show. We weren't, but we were having fun.
That's okay. And I'm going to shamelessly promote. As a matter of fact, because of this, I think I'm going to play some Prince Live stuff this week on my IG Live. So I'm going to go into my Prince Live archives and play stuff on my IG Live. And also my IG is at Stephen with a PH, STEPHEN, Stephen Grant Hill on IG. And on Thursday at 7 p.m., I think it's gonna have to be some Prince until I get kicked off. It's gonna be Prince live stuff from 83, from 87, from 88. Because I love running the Love Sexy tour. And from what else do I have? I have Nude tour, and then Dr. Funkenstein will give me whatever I don't have. What else I don't have?
All right, George Clinton's going to bring you up. Did Prince make you nervous in 2000?
What questions we got? What questions we got?
Did Prince make
me nervous in 2004 when he corrected your? Okay, so it wasn't nervous. We had been bantering back and forth before the cameras were on, because I referred to a pink pocket square before, and he refers to it in the interview. If you look, he said, I say, what would you tell the Prince of 1984 to look out for? He said, watch out for Stephen Hill and tell him to have a pink pocket square earlier, because before the cameras were on, he and I were bantering, because he said, oh, your suit looks good. It needs a pink pocket square. I might have one. And so he was talking to his wardrobe person, like, can you find a pink pocket square? Can you find one? And he couldn't. So we had been bantering back and forth before that. And so the reason I started off right away is because his representatives were saying, like, you only have 20 minutes. You've got to go going right away. No pleasantries. I'm like, okay, cool. So when I did that and he stopped me, it didn't bother me. And that's why I was able to go, like, you're supposed to say your name. And I said, my name is Stephen Hill, and your name is Prince. Hilarious. One of the greatest intros in anything ever. Thanks for asking now. Any other questions? I love this stuff.
Because we skipped this one, can you tell the story about when your mom danced on stage with Prince?
During the Vegas shows, Ruth, if you're still on, these are some of this is the show where I paid for 11 tickets. I paid for 11 tickets. Ashley, I think you were there. I'm pretty sure. I know you were there. My brother used to have this thing where he'd go with a bunch of his boys to Vegas for the opening of March Madness, and they'd go bet on games and blah, blah, blah. And opening of March Madness happened to coincide with when Prince was doing something at I think it was the Orleans, right? It was the Orleans?
Orleans, yes.
He was doing those shows at the Orleans. Yeah, right. And so I was like, okay, we'll all go. My brother will come. My brother will go to the Orleans and watch the show. So I bought all these tickets to go to the Orleans. Ruth was kind enough to put us in very, very good seats, which were on the side by the stage. And so I love this story because, during the part, Prince comes off to the side of the stage. He goes and whispers in my brother's ear, who looks a little bit like me. And my brother freezes. He's like, why is Prince talking to me? Prince backs up and looks at him and goes like, oh, no, that's not Stephen. He sees me and then comes up to me and says, can you bring some people on stage, please? and then goes back to the stage. He thought my brother was me. And so literally I bring my mother, my brother, and all of us. We go on stage and dance. I forget what the song was. Ashley might remember because he's got a much better memory than I do. And so we start dancing, and like my mom is like literally the last one to get off stage. Like at this point in time, she is, we'll call it 80 years old, 80, 81 years old, but she's just on stage with Prince. On stage with Prince. So that is the story of my mom dancing on stage with Prince as in Vegas.
Here's another random one. I don't know if you're gonna remember this.
No, I love random questions.
I met you on the Soul Chain cruise after you interviewed Dougie Fresh. I was the one who shouted Tony M. Started talking about diamonds and pearls. You remember that?
That's right. What's happening? Indeed. I always remember Prince references. That's never hard to remember.
Especially if it's Tony M on there. It's a specific period.
Just give me the beat and something to flow on. That's all I remember. Just give me the beat and something to flow on. What else we got?
There's quite a few. It's like going up so fast, unfortunately.
That's all right.
I'm not going to ask that one. Your best parade.
Ashley, that's true. You know, Pim, if you can see what Ashley Culp, nothing is more truer than what Ashley Culp just said if you can pin it.
Okay.
I realized that it's Steven. If you see it, I realized it's Steven, not the latest one, but the one before that one.
I'll get it.
I realized.
And that led you to being president of BET, not that one. Oh, I realized.
No,
okay.
before that. Yeah, I realized. Yeah. Too true. Nothing makes me happier. Look, dude, nothing makes me happier, especially, Ashley's a Prince fan like I am, and nothing makes me happier than I've been very fortunate in my life to have access, and nothing makes me happier than that. And I'll tell you why. The reason is because if I had been introduced to the Jackson 5 when I was young, I would have lost my mind. So one of the things I love to do is like my friends' kids, whether it's Justin Timberlake or NSYNC or Backstreet Boys when they were hot. I used to love taking my friends' kids to the shows and then introducing them to it afterwards, because I'm like, if someone had introduced me to the Jackson 5, like my mind would have been blown. And so my niece who loved B2K still to this day remembers the day that she met B2K. So it's all about taking it and spreading it. It's all about taking it and spreading it.
Now, this one isn't a question, but they just want you to know that they're loving this interview. They feel it's best. You not appreciate Steven's utter joy and excitement, great stories, and a change to boot.
Dion, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm dead serious. Like, I don't get to geek out about this, geek out about this often, and I thoroughly enjoy it. When he said there was 3 hours that had gone by, I'm like, he must not have put his clock forward.
All right. Here's an interesting one. How did you introduce?
Oh, that's a great question. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that my boy Jaden has become a Prince fan on his own. He was looking forward to watching Purple Rain, and we watched Purple Rain, and he enjoyed it. He is a Jackson fan as well, but really it's really just that he heard me playing it, and he enjoyed the intricacy of the music. He got it right away. Jaden is an incredibly musical guy. He's really good, although he still loves Scott Joplin, Maple Leaf Rag, and I love it. But he became a Prince fan just by listening to music. I did not play Head. I did not play Erotic City. I didn't play the real deep stuff. I didn't play Scarlet Poo. That was not. But he got it on his own.
Very cool. Last question. This is going to be a tough one. No snowballs here. What's your favorite unreleased Prince song?
I mean, so that has never been. Oh, Journey to the Center of My Heart.
There you go.
Has that ever been released? That's never been released, right?
Not officially, but he did start performing it.
Not his version.
Right.
Not his version.
Nope.
Somebody else recorded it and released it, right? Didn't they?
Yep.
Shaka.
Yeah.
Was it Shaka?
I believe Javetta has a version of it as well, but Shaka's was the one on there, Journey to the Center of Your Heart.
Journey to the Center of My Heart. And
we were doing that in 2009.
Did he perform that live?
Club Nokia 2009. We did 3 shows on one night to promote Lotus Flower. Yep.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, let me talk about some others. And by the way, while we're talking about this, I know he's trying to get me off, but I want to talk about this forever. But I promise we'll get off. Just put it in the chat. Put some of your favorite unreleased. So, Emotional Pump was one of them before they released it, but they released it.
Mm-hmm.
Hide the Bone. I loved Hide the Bone before they released Hide the Bone. I loved Hide the Bone. I saw Hide the Bone perform live in Miami in 94 or 95 when he had Glam Slam in Miami.
Wow.
And I remember it. I can see it because I was like, this song is one of the funkiest things I've ever heard in my entire life. So when it finally came out on Crystal Ball, I was an extremely happy person. Another unreleased that I've heard a version of him singing Evergreen that I really like.
Okay.
I've heard a version of him singing Evergreen that is really kind of awesome.
Fair enough.
Let's see. Possessed. Hide the Bone is awesome. Let's see. Schoolyard's dope. Expert Lover. Don't get me started. All right. So when are we doing this again? Don't try to, because I feel like you're trying to get rid of me. I feel like you're trying to get rid of me. I'll be honest with you.
No.
I feel like you're trying to get rid of me.
We gotta have you on.
Yeah, it feels like you're trying to get rid of me.
We either do another show next week in March, or we can do something for April. But definitely have you on because any part
whatever's
I talk to you about, man. Don't worry about it.
Dude, whatever's good for you, I'm here. This has been one of the quickest 3.5 hours I've ever spent in my entire life.
And I don't want you to feel rushed because there's other stuff I want to talk to you about that I don't want to feel rushed. So it could be another long.
No, I get it.
So
we're good.
Now
I get it.
Wardrobe change and other artifacts set up and knock it out of the park.
Yeah, dude. Let's see. I still have I showed you the mic. Let's see. Oh, the story about the last concert I ever saw from, and Ashley was there for that one. The last concert I ever saw with Prince. What else do I have? I have my trying to get him to do 106 in Park. Got that one.
See, we have a bunch of
stuff. We talked
a
little bit about Nice. So there's stuff we can talk about.
Yeah, there's probably.
We didn't talk about dinner at his house. We didn't get to talk about how I once got to. We didn't talk about how he feels about Parliament Funkadelic. How we talked about that over dinner. How easily it was for him to write Glamorous Life. Oh, we got some stuff to talk about. We didn't even talk about him calling me to go to the clubs. Oh yeah, we're good.
We have so much to talk. We could probably, like I said, easily do another 3-hour show. So let's be more prepared for that. But I appreciate your time, and it's been incredible. Yeah, I went by really quick, and we didn't cover everything. That's what's crazy.
Dude, 3.5 hours. I can't believe it.
And now
it is literally 12:30 in the morning where I
am. Scotty Baldwin. He wants to be the longest show, so I'm gonna have to have Scotty back on and tell Prince stories, because when we had Michael Bland on and he passed him at the 3-hour mark, he had to beat him. So we're gonna get Scotty on again, but we're gonna have you. Who knows what your second show will do? But I appreciate your time, and Steven, thank you so much.
And where can I find this? Where can we tell people where they can find this show after we're done here? Where can they find it on? Where is it archived?
YouTube and Facebook Live, and I will be putting up an audio version up on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere else as well. Right. But that'll give me a day or two to do that. But they can find YouTube immediately and Facebook Live. If you're on Facebook, you can actually go back and answer some of the questions that were asked during the 3-hour show. So I don't think with YouTube they allow.
And I'll gladly answer questions. Look, I love answering questions. So when we do this again, we'll make sure to leave plenty of time to answer questions, because those are really fun. They challenge me and make me think. But before we get off, I do want to thank again. Look, Ruth is just. I love Ruth for Prince, I love Ruth outside of Prince. Like if Prince had never existed, I would still love Ruth, and she knows that. So I just want to say that out aloud. Ruth is just a great person who happened to work with Prince, and that's how I met her. But outside of that, and trust me when I say, you should thank Ruth for having Prince as long as you did.
There you go. We'll have Ruth on eventually. That's all I'll say. I know Taika said she wants to.
I don't know that's going to happen. I don't know if she's going to do that. I hope she does. I hope she does.
It'll be different.
Hope she does.
It'll be different.
But
it won't be like this.
I will work. You know what? By the way, I will work with you to get that happen. Even if I have to travel and sit next to her and hold her hand while she does it, I would do that.
Fair enough. You can reach out to her, but yes, that's the plan eventually. But definitely, thank you, Steven, so much, my man. All right, and part 2.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Part 2. Get some rest or be on your high, and I can look forward to talking to you soon, my man.
Peace and be wild.
Exactly. Love it. And we're definitely have a part 2 with Steven. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was a long show. You may not have been able to digest this all in one viewing if you're not watching it live. Thank you guys so much for subscribing on YouTube, for leaving comments, questions. Thank you guys so much for watching on Facebook Live or backwards on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, your favorite podcast, Podbay FM. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending the time with us. You can always donate. It's always appreciated as well. Much love. Till next time. And the second time that we have Stephen Hill on, keep it funky.